can see the screen, people. Yeah, let me know if you can see the screen. You know, let me know if you can hear me proper. Hold on, let me mute this one. You know how the thing goes. Yeah, I ain't even playing no music, no intro video, none of that foolishness. Yeah, it's not worth it. Get me? It's not worth it. We're gonna get right to it. Yeah, we'll give it about another 3-4 minutes. Yeah, and we'll get going. You get me? We're gonna review the review. Hopefully, people don't chicken out and decide that they're gonna shut down videos and that. But we'll see. We'll see. You know. But while we're here, how's everyone doing? You know, it's been a long time since I've done a stream. You know what I mean? Long time. You get me? But we here, and we are, you know, living. You get me? You see what I'm saying? So it's time to school some people. You know? It's time to school some people, let them know. You know what I mean? Like, we're not idiots. You can't keep doing these little sly videos on the topics I might be talking about and then decide that you're gonna take half of my conversation and try run with it and try and make yourself seem like you are some intellect. You get me? With your Wikipedia scholarship. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're gonna do this. I don't know, scientific. It's a brother. He makes reviews and he reviews what he thinks people are saying, but his comprehension's off for a start. Yeah, I'll let you know that his comprehension's well off. Yeah, and there's intellectual dishonesty. Do you feel me? But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. You get me? Couple minutes, we're gonna see. Yeah, I know this guy's gonna be sitting there recording. That's why I sent the thing for it to get shared, because I know you're gonna be sitting there recording. So you can record. I've offered you the debate. Yeah, you told me you don't debate online. So I said to you, it's cool. I got a channel. It can just be me and you. No one else needs to be on the channel. You get me? You deleted my comment, brother. You get me? You deleted that. I don't know why, but you got a lot to speak about. You get me? You got a lot to say about the things that you perceive that I am saying, and your perceiving and your perception is just totally wrong, bro. So we're gonna get to it, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. You get me? And we're gonna see if you are the scholar that you think you are. You get me? Yeah, it's that simple. We're not playing games with people. Yeah, truth is truth. This isn't racial politics. This isn't type of politics like that. This is just me and you having a conversation, and you, yeah, explaining your part of what you want to say. But for some reason, you're too chicken. You get me? Yeah, too chicken. Yeah, and I'm not having it. Yes, big up yourself, Helen. Yeah, big up the people in the building. Yeah, thank you for coming in. I don't even business if you hit the like. Dislike the thing if you want to dislike the thing. I'm not here to have no, I'm not doing this for the likes. Do you get what I'm saying? This, I'm doing this for the truth. Yeah, I'm doing this for the truth. Yeah, and to expose people's agendas, because I don't know what kind of agenda this guy has. Do you get me? But for some reason, you decide you're going to clip half of a conversation and try and tell people what you think I mean. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Without even talking to me and saying, right, what did you mean by that, Mosh? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Your name's Room for Debate, but you don't debate, bro. Change your name to Chatty Patty. Change your name to Chatty Patty Pun Lion, brethren. That's best for you, because you're not debating no one, bro. You're making little slide videos and da-da-da-da-da, and that's fine. You got your people that you dislike and whatever you go against, whatever. That's fine. Just don't misrepresent people. Don't misrepresent people and try and make it seem like they're saying what you want them to say. Yeah, when it's totally different. So we're going to get to it, brother. Yeah, anytime you want, you can join the show, bro. Yeah, I will allow you to join the show. When you come here, nobody else will be on the panel, bro. So you and I can have this discussion. But here we are, 6 minutes past 2, yeah? Let's get to it, yeah? So here we go. Let's start sharing these screens. Bear with me, people. It's been a long time. You get what I said? Jeez. Share screen. Let's go. G-Bot review. Here we are. Also share audio. Let's do it. So this is the page. G Block Review. Moorish culture was not a black African creation. This is what he's saying. That is his premise. Yeah. That is what he believes. And that's fine. We can all believe what we want to believe. Yeah. But at least, please do the work. Do the work. That's all. Yeah. Don't be lazy with it. Yeah. Like I said to you, the first image you pulled up, bruv, you pulled up from Wikipedia. Imagine that. From Wikipedia. But let's get into it. Let's get into it, please. Let's do it. Let's play this.
Good evening, welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to be reviewing G Block, and tonight's topic is going to be the Moors. So let's get into this.
Amazing. Amazing.
I was thinking the exact same, Banksy.
Foreigners who were part of the Roman legion, because Rome was a massive empire, came to England and died here.
That's the point I meant. That's
the drop down argument. The mic drop argument.
Brother, listen, Banksy, you're not stupid. Stop playing.
You know, but look, have you heard of like the BG head lady? You know, this is like when
BG head, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out she wasn't black African. She was from fucking Cyprus.
Yeah, there was blacks in Cyprus as well.
No,
that's why it's called the island of Aphrodite.
Let me know if the audio's okay as well, people. Yeah, because obviously I'm not hearing it on my end. Yeah, so let me know if the audio's okay. If I need to turn it up, etc. Yeah, and I'll try my best. You know what I'm saying? But bear with me.
No, there were no blacks in.
Obviously, it's not called the island of Aphrodite for that reason. I've gone into this before, but Khan obviously doesn't got a clue what he's talking about.
Well,
of course they were.
Sorry.
The island of Aphrodite.
Yeah, that's equally ignorant from Kingston. No doubt there were black and mixed people around the Mediterranean at that period of time. And obviously, it's a possibility that they were in Cyprus, as they were all over that region. So yes, ignorance from Khan and ignorance from King.
And you know what? I'm going to give you your due there. I'm going to give you your due. You did correct the ignorance from both sides. I can respect that. I can respect that. But what it seems to be is that you're putting some truth out there to get brownie points or to get people to listen to you, and then you start chatting your foolishness. Yeah? So let's carry on. Let's see.
Kingston.
You see, this is why you know you don't know what you're talking about, because you just throw away a statement like that and say no, they weren't. Stop chatting rubbish.
Mechanism in order to determine whose race or ethnicity is by shapes of the skull and what they happen to have in their teeth.
Oh, not the skull shape thing, for fuck's sake.
That is exactly how.
That's not science.
Yes, but that is how they determined BG head lady of being black African, because.
Well, that was the science of the day, but obviously it's outdated and it's fraught with danger and error, and that's why we don't use it today. But we don't need it. We have DNA today, thankfully.
Of that, what you would regard as.
Who's we, bro? You use Wikipedia. Stop talking about we. You use Wikipedia, bro. You don't use none of that. You go to the first page on Wiki with a picture that shows what you want to show, bro. But hear what? I'm going to show you that the thing that you showed is an actual lie and doesn't represent what you said it represented. And it's going to show you, your lazy scholarship, bro. Lazy scholarship. Let's go.
It's shitty science, measuring skulls and all that stuff. But that's the only way they could prove it.
But you're mentioning one woman. You're mentioning one woman in comparison to just what to compare to this. Is that in comparison to this study?
Sub-Saharan Africans in Britain, in the Roman Empire.
No.
End of all speculation.
No.
Yes.
No. So wait. Is there a difference? So is there a difference if they describe black African descent as Morocco and Algeria? Would you say there's a difference between the two?
If you're saying North African, then you're certainly.
Or is that one and the same people?
No, North Africans are not the same.
Brother, listen to what I just said to you. There's two things. Listen, there's been two things on the screen.
I'm on my phone.
Which you people will claim are not of African. Right. Okay, just all you got to do is zoom in onto open the screen up. That's it. Just zoom. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. The second page says one.
All right, let me pause it quickly for you guys, and give you a little bit of context. Yeah. Obviously, if Khan's there, we can tell you what the conversation was. Yeah. Banksy was there too. Now, the argument wasn't about black people being British or English or even indigenous to the countries. It was about me saying and asking the question, how can a people who are historically recorded coming later than African heritage people, how can they be allowed to inherit the title English when they've been here after the cultures or African people, right? So I'm asking, that was the question I was asking, not that black people are English, just that people are allowed to be English after the fact, right? that's a fair question to ask, right? If I can prove to you that there were Africans in England during Roman times and after Roman times, i.e. 1066, people came in, well, that's like 1,000 years later. I'll probably give or take, yeah? So we're talking about 800-900 years later. They've come in after Africans have been inhabiting this country, been buried, etc. So the source I brought up here was in Southwark, southeast London. They found Roman burial sites, and within those Roman burial sites, they found African bodies, right? Which then shows that at that time, there was a small population, no matter how small it was, the population was a lot smaller than it is now anyway, right? But there was a small population of Africans within the United Kingdom, right? Now, if I can go into more depth on another stream in the future, right? Like, trust me, that there's tons and tons of sources, history books, actual recordings of people's tales, yeah? And this is what we're going to go into in a minute, yeah? Because again, people like to act like, big up yourself, Life Hut, yeah? If I ain't big you up here, big up yourself, everyone, yeah? Thank you for arriving, yeah? And listening in, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, thank you, Helen. It is a fair question, right? Thank you very much. Yeah. Right. Cool. So let's play on anyway. So you've got the context of the conversation. What's on the screen I'm looking at is the writing, because the writing is explaining the burials, right? And what they found. But let's play on and we'll see what this guy decided to do. And I don't know if he watched the whole stream or the whole conversation, but this is where he started from, which for me is like a red flag already. Do you know what I mean? Why do you need to start from there? Why don't you take the whole conversation? You're playing it in 1.25 speed anyway, so you could have got the whole conversation and got the actual premise of my argument. Instead, you clicked it, decided to make a video to try and make yourself sound smarter than everyone else. Big mistake, brother. Big mistake. You effed up, and I'm going to expose you.
It literally says Moors.
Moors on one says about Moors. Right. Thank you. So you can now admit. So you can now see that there's a differentiation between the two. Right. One says black.
All right, let's stop that there. Moors is not a racial designation. Now, a North African can be black. Of course they can. It's in Africa. It's North Africa. But a North African can also not be black. That's a very mixed part of the world, extremely mixed, and it has been for well over 20,000 years, from the days when the Iber-Maurutians walked through the Sinai, down the old Horus Road and into Egypt and all those surrounding areas. Also, we had migrations from around the time of the Green Sahara coming up into, pushing up into North Africa. So that area is very diverse. It's very complicated.
African, and the other one says Moors, right?
Did it say sub-Saharan African?
Brother, there was no term for sub-Saharan African. You know that's a modern term, bro. What?
Yeah, but also there's no term for Moor. The people of that culture did not call themselves Moors. The Christians and others called them Moors. Moor to the Christians just meant Muslim. It's not a racial designation.
But wait. Are North Africans black Africans in your eyes?
Some are, yes.
No, anytime I hear.
So this is where the guy messed up already. Yeah. I'm trying to point out to Kingston and using his argument stance, right, that the Moors and black Africans are totally separate, right? Now, the article that I'm sharing says that there were graves of Moors and Africans, what we would class today as sub-Saharan, okay? So I'm trying to explain to him that not only were there Africoid people, but there are other sets of people that were classed as swarthy, Moorish, whatever you want to say, yeah, whatever phrases you want to use, yeah. But there were people here other than what is classed as the indigenous English. Okay, that is the point I'm making. The article is showing that through grave sites. Okay, so that's where we're going, right? So again, this guy's talking about the Moors can be mixed, so on and so forth, this and this and this and so on and so forth. That's not the argument in point. He's talking about walking down the old Horus Road and da-da-da-da-da. Man, get your Old Town Road out of here, bro. What the hell do some man? Let me carry on playing, man. This guy's a joke.
No. I don't want anyone to answer for him. Let him. I want to see his perspective.
A dark-skinned Arab, I would not consider black.
Okay, cool. So black.
All right, let's stop that there. So the source Motion is using is a coin for Aurelian, who was a Roman emperor. And he came to Britain with his army, and they were known as the Aurelian Moors. Now,
pause. Right. So, here the joke. Did you not see what was on the screen before that? You all saw what was on the screen before that, right? Which was writing. This right here is an advert. Yeah, it's an advert. I didn't put that on the screen. So here he is, yeah, trying to be sly. I did not put that on the screen. As you can see behind what he's put on the screen is my writing. It's all words. Where do you see a picture on there? Have you seen a picture on that writing that I put on the screen yet? Type 1 if you see a picture of these coins on the screen that I've been playing, and type 3 if you don't see a picture on the screen that I've been playing. Yeah, this is the disingenuous nature of some people. And I'm calling you out, brother. Get on the panel and debate me like a man. Yeah? You want me to make a reply video? No, brother. I want you to come on live and argue your point with me. I don't want this whole clipping something and then it'll be like, oh, Motion said this, and you forget that everything else that was said. Because we're not doing that. So you either come on the live and debate me and bring your sources that you bring, yeah, and see where we go. Yeah? Cowardly. That's what I call it. Cowardly. You can't stand by your words, bro. You can't stand on your truth, bro. You can't stand 10 toes down, bro. Yeah? That's the difference between you and I. I can stand by my words. If I call you an idiot, I'll call you an idiot anywhere and anytime. And if you say, did you call me an idiot? I will say, yes, I did. Do you understand? But let's go. Oh, well, while we're there, let me come out the screen. Watch, let me just show you, look. Comments. So you can see he's liking the comments. I wasn't using a coin. I was sharing the source about the graves they found of Africans in Roman times. I've also said there are 2 different examples given, Moorish and Black African, that showing that there were different peoples in England since Roman times. Simple, yeah? I said also, do the Spanish depict Arab-looking folk, or do they go in blackface when talking about Moors? Moorish dancing in England was done in blackface also. If they were just slaves and servants, I'd like to debate you on this. Bring your sources, let me know when you're ready. His response, make a response video, Motion. I don't do panel debates, and bring your sources to show Black Africans were the ruling class in Moorish society. So now can you see the switch up? Can you see the switch up? Yeah? And don't worry, I got you on that one. I got you, yeah? Don't worry, I got something for you for that one, yeah? Just to slap your stupid argument out the way, yeah? Quickly. Like I said, if you came and debated me, I'd only need 20 minutes, bro. Levels to this. And you are not it. Yeah? Unless you learn to look for proper sources, bro, you're going to get slapped up anytime you step to me, bro. Believe me on that. Let's go again.
Now, I don't know why Motion is using this source. I don't know if he's using this coin to show that Aurelian was black. There's no evidence that Aurelian or the Aurelian Moors were quote unquote black. Looking at the coin, and I do appreciate we're in the realms of lookership now. He doesn't look black from the coins. There's nothing to suggest in history that he was black. Were his army black? No, not specifically. Well, Motion, Lady Divine, Black Africans. If you say North African, now it becomes problematic. Now it
whoever OS is, I got a job,
because anyone could be a North African.
I finished early.
The same as anyone can be English by birth or British by birth. That doesn't give you a clue to their ethnicity or their skin color, does it? You just know their nationality.
No, if they say sub-Saharan African, then that's it.
You see, because that's what you know you want to say, because that's what you believe, bro. Don't try and twist it because you don't want to be wrong, bro. You see how when you get caught out, you got caught in a lie. You got caught in a lie.
No,
you just in a lie, bro. Done, bro. You can't, bro. Stop it. Stop it. You just got caught in it. You got caught in a lie, bro. You just got caught in a lie, bro. You just caught yourself out, bro. That you just caught yourself out. You know that you class Black Africans as what you class as. You class Sub-Saharan Africans as that same term, Black Africans. You class them as different to North Africans.
I think Motion means North Africans separated from sub-Saharan Africans. That's the imaginary line, of course. There is it's complicated actually, because the sub-Saharan line is Saharan of Africa. They're all mixed up.
Yes, you do. That is why you just. It is, bro. It is, bro. Bruv, you just got slapped over, bro. Stop it, man. Stop it. Leave it. Leave it. All right, forget it. All right.
It could be
All right,
more.
mate.
You know,
All right,
you
mate.
are
All right,
just really
All right,
looking
mate.
at scores.
You don't have to repeat yourself.
No, you just flopped, bro. You literally just flopped.
Black African. What does that mean?
It means
What does it mean? Come on, Kingston. As I said earlier, Ready Vision, Nyanifa, Motion, Shifa, Lady Divine. These are Black Africans. There's no confusion as to what a Black African is now. You're just being ignorant now, Kingston.
sub-Saharan African, man. What do you
No, it
mean?
doesn't.
Yes, it does. A black
Kingston saying he doesn't understand what white European means. That he doesn't understand that Wendy, Jupiter, myself, and others are not white Europeans. Come on, man, you're being ignorant.
Yes, and those are just dark skin, but mostly Caucasian features.
But there's a differential. Well, how would you reconcile the
Just look at the skull
differentiation made? Brother, I'm asking a question. How would you reconcile the differentiation made?
It's kind of like a
North
grey
Africans and Black Africans. There's differentiation, right? They're saying it's two different sets of people.
I just want to say, yeah, while I'm here, bro, while it's been playing, I've been modding a few people, yeah? If you're on mod, please, yeah? This is a beef-free zone. You get me? I've paused it. But yeah, this is a beef-free zone. Just so you know. Yeah? There's no dissing people them. There's no doxing. There's no personal issues. If we on topic, we on topic. If you disagree about a topic, we disagree about a topic. But if you're going to argue about the damn topic and not something else 2, 3, 4 years ago. You see me? Yeah? Beef-free zone. And I'm going to reserve the right to decide who I have on my panel. And that will be based on who is also on the panel. You get me? Yeah? Try and know this. And some people will never be on my panel. Ever. But let's go.
Yes, they can be two sets of different people, but as I said earlier, they can be one of the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
so Black Africans are from where?
Again, there are lots.
No, I think it is fair to say that above that imaginary quote unquote Saharan line.
Brother.
Are you saying Moors are the only North
Stop it.
Africans?
Stop
No,
it. No, listen. Oh, so now we're getting to the truth of it. So who are the Moors, bro? Really? Let's get into it.
Well, there's lots of types of Moors. But the most
Who are the Moors really? I said. Not what types, really.
Caucasian. It's true.
Why don't you simplify your arguments and start arguing?
So the Moors are called.
All right, that's a good question. Who were the Moors? So let's get into it. So what you're looking at as an image, a representation of Moors as leaders. Now, this is not going to please a lot of people on T-Block, but this is factual, and it is what it is. The people that ruled the Moorish empires were not black. There were black people in the Moorish empire. They were in the army. They were servants and they were slaves, but they were not ruling Moorish culture. For example, pre-Islam in Africa, Moorish architecture didn't exist. Arabic didn't exist. Islam didn't exist. Screen. People who were Arabs, people who were Muslims. And we can further witness that by the people that we know today as the Crows of the Arabs. And they were a group of people who were mixed, who were black Africans, whose mothers were mostly Ethiopians, who told us about these Arabs. They told us who the rulers were, and we'll get to that in a minute.
You know, I'm tempted to debunk this right now, this image, this lie. This guy just found a Wikipedia image and put it on the screen and said, this is facts. without researching. He doesn't know the description, the real description, because he just read what's been put on Wikipedia. He's not gone into, let me get the name of the book for you because it's here in front of my hand. The Cantigas de Santa Maria. Yeah, Cantigas de Santa Maria. Yeah, research it. Yeah, research it. And what you'll find is it is a songbook. Right? It's a songbook. It's not a history book. It's a songbook. But we'll continue with the ignorance.
Say
the Moors are Caucasian
on this planet.
Yes, because there are plenty of Moors. You can look
Apparently,
them
the
up.
cradle of
Blue
life
eyes,
was
they have
Africa,
blonde
wasn't it?
hair.
So
Some of
I
them
don't
even
know
red
why you
hair.
make that as your argument.
Some of them are darker skin, but some of them are lighter skin.
all right, you've given to people and that you happily accept, yeah, as in Black Africans are sub-Saharan and North Africans are the other people. And because this article, because this article, these two articles are showing two different sets of people, yeah, you now are scared to now use the same term that you were so proud to use a minute ago, sub-Saharan African. What?
All right, as I said, we're going to get into this subject now, the Crows of the Arabs. Now, who were the Crows of the Arabs? They were mixed and black writers of Islam from the 7th century onwards. So this is taken from the Crows of the Arabs, Bernard Lewis. You can download this, read this at your leisure. And as you can see from the screen, Antara was considered among the first. Now, these Crows, as they were known, told us about these Arabs. They told us how racist they were to them. They told us how they were treated to them. They told us that the caliphates who were in charge were Arabs. They were, and I read something from Al-Jahiz, a very famous crow, so to speak. Before the advent of Islam, you saw nothing wrong with us marrying women, but now you deem it wrong with the rise of Islam. So there you go. Al-Jahiz is telling you that before Islam came into the picture, it was okay to marry Arab women. Black men could marry Arab women. As soon as this Muslim, quote unquote, Moorish culture came in, it was not acceptable anymore. So I think I would take what these people, what they were about from these black writers, and not from people on G Block in 2025 or other channels. I'm just not going to pick on G Block, obviously, but to reviewing them. You're just wrong. You're just playing.
There we have it. There we have it. There we have it. Oh, is it cutting out? 1 second. Let me do this up. All right. Can you like hear me? You know how it goes, man. It's this flipping countryside internet, man. You know how it goes, man. But we'll continue. The first thing the man said is there are no black ruling class people in Moorish society. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tackle that picture that he played, right? So I've got another video. These videos provide real sources, actual translations, yeah, actual full images, actual full descriptions from museums, yeah, actual full writings of the people that lived amongst the Moors. Okay, so we're going to get into it. This isn't to say that the Moors didn't later become Arabic people, and what was colloquially called the Moors became Arabic people too. Yes, but even the people there that are talking, do you hear what he said? The other people called them Moors. So how come the blacks ain't calling them Moors? They are referring to them as Arabs in your very own writing, the Arabs. Interesting that, innit? Remember what you said. Use the words of the people that lived at the time. What did they say? They are Arabs, not Moors. Anyway, let me share the next screen for you so this guy can stop his foolishness. Boy. Ah, man, which one to go for first? Damn. Me full screen this bitch. Show these guys what time it is. Can you see these meanings on the screen, people? Let me know if you can see these meanings on the screen. Let me see if you can read these meanings on the screen. Not once does more Tony Brown man says none of that. Says none of that at all. Yeah, so let's play the video. And I'm gonna double tie this one. We don't even need to. I wanted you to catch the foolishness this guy was on. Yeah, but this one can go double time. Watch this.
In the slightest, in terms of what it meant to the people that used it. If you access the Wikipedia page about the Moors, you will be confronted with images from books such as the Cantigas de Santa Maria and the Fuero.
You see it? Wikipedia. The man said that they're not, they don't want to hear nothing from no one, yeah, or no other channels, but he's just gone on Wikipedia talking shit.
Lusco, among others. Both books are Visigothic texts that played an important role in propaganda during the extension of Christendom in the region, depicting specific events taking place in and around the Iberian Peninsula during the Crusades, which was a period of substantial political, ethnographic, religious, and evil. Crucial role in balance. We have a collection of over 400 songs written under the patronage of King Alfonso X. It is important to note that under Alfonso's rule, Spain became a center of learning with Alfonso's court, attracting scholars from all religious backgrounds, including Muslims, Christians, and Jews from all over the known world. This point is very relevant to what we see depicted in the Cantigas. The depth of diversity within this multicultural hub under the rulership of Alfonso X was best reflected in the Book of Games, Dice and Tables, the Libro de los Juegos, a book from the same period, commissioned by the same ruler. It demonstrated the diverse multicultural and intellectual nature of Alfonso's famed courts. Let's start with this image, which is front and center of the Wikipedia page, with the caption confidently stating, Castilian ambassadors attempting to convince Moorish Almohad, King Abu Hafs Umar al-Murtada, to join their alliance.
Are you lot ready? Are you lot ready? Are you lot ready to see what happens to this picture? Are you ready? Watch this. Joker.
It sounds conclusive enough, that is, until you examine the source material and realize that this caption is a bold-faced lie. The Cantigas de Santa Maria, in its entirety, never directly references King Abu Hafs Umar al-Murtada, by picture or by song. Do remember it's a songbook. That may be why this image is not showing any original caption, because this description is a deceitful fabrication. The image likely depicts one of the numerous scholars and nobles from Visigothic or Levantine Islamic families who were commonly hosted by Alfonso X. Either way, these aren't identifiable as Moors, and that character is certainly not identifiable as King Abu Hafs Umar al-Murtada. But that isn't all. In fact, we're just beginning.
Adversion. Are these not ramping on my internet?
Okay, so if you've got this far into my video, I'm going to take a guess that you're finding it somewhat informative, somewhat valuable, somewhat entertaining. Thank you very much. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button so that it's a bit of circulation.
Let's not move on. For people that are interested, this brother's channel is called King's Monologue. Yeah, he's a fantastically well-read brother. Yeah, very well-read brother, very well-researched. I mean, very well-researched. One of these guys that slaps up people for fun. Yeah. So, and again, I don't listen to people or watch people's videos that don't provide source material. So if you go on these channels and listen, you will see there's plenty of source material. Do you know what I mean? Let's go.
And if you are, then I would welcome you to join my patrons.
And more playing chess is taken from.
Let's go.
Will go a long way. So really, that's all I want to say on that. Back to the scheduled programming.
The second image that the authors of the Wikipedia page captioned Christian and Moor playing chess is taken from the previously mentioned Libro de los Juegos. And, true to form, the caption is a significant fabrication. Captions in the Libro de los Juegos are generally brief, and the truest translation says something as straightforward as two men playing chess or chess players. The emphasis is on illustrating the game, not on defining the player's cultural or religious identities. Everything else is just projection. Consider when this art was commissioned with the purpose of doing what it likely does.
Are you seeing? Yeah, that's the first one. That's the first one. You've been caught in a lie already. Let us continue.
Does now. That is, imbuing a sense of the respect shared amongst intellectuals that clearly transcended religion. The irony that this artwork is now being exploited and twisted to promote a false racial ideology is quite telling. With that said, let's continue. Next, we have this image that is bizarrely titled A Depiction of the Moors in Iberia. Now, thankfully, the original image does have a caption, which, like the rest of the Cantigas de Santa Maria, was written in Galician Portuguese.
You lot, ready for this, yeah? Be ready for this. It's not a joke. Yeah, this is what I'm telling you. I beg you, bro. When you call for me, make sure you do your due diligence, because I do.
Although translations can be difficult, the original caption roughly translates to, "And the King of Granada left in honor with the cavalry." Now, to be clear, the King of Granada was the Nasrid ruler Mohammed I, and he was likely a Moor. However, he was well known, like other Iberian rulers, to employ a mixed infantry. He had a very large disposal of Christian soldiers at his employ. However, given the peace brokered between the Nasrid dynasty and Alfonso X, he never faced the Castilian ruler in battle, and that is exactly what is being depicted here and reported in the Song of the Cantiga. This important detail is supported by the following quote. Muhammad I recognized the need to maintain his kingdom's independence through alliances, even if that meant employing Christian troops. In return for his vassalage, he occasionally provided military assistance to Castile, and in exchange, he sometimes received Christian support, including soldiers for his campaigns. Harvey, LP Islamic Spain, 1250 to 1500, page 33. This quote highlights the practical and strategic nature of Muhammad I's use of Christian troops and, more importantly, non-Moors. Once again, refuting the false claim that this is a depiction of the Moors in Iberia. It's much more likely a depiction of the Christian troops he was loaned. To be clear, no single mention of Moors or the...
And remember the years, you know. Remember the years that are being quoted here. Yeah, you saw it there on the screen. Remember the years.
These troops being Moorish has been made. Shall we continue? Let's. Next, this image of Al-Mansur's army taken from the Cantigas was drawn nearly 300 years after the depicted conflict took place. However, and more importantly, his army was not made up solely of Moors. In fact, what made his army so formidable was a broad alliance of troops and support that he had accumulated into an enviable force. This is unquestionably demonstrated in the following quote. Al-Mansur's forces were a highly diverse army, composed of Andalusians, Berbers, and Christian mercenaries, alongside Slavic slaves and professional soldiers. This diversity allowed him to project power across the peninsula.
Right, so, again, we go back to the words this guy says. Hired and slaves. Who was mentioned as the slaves in this? Who was mentioned as the slaves? Did it say Slavic slaves? Or did it say African slaves or Moorish slaves? But I digress. Yeah, because that's just a minor trip up that he did. But let's go again.
And execute his devastating campaigns. Kennedy, Hugh, Muslim Spain and Portugal, A Political History of Al-Andalus, page 184. This quote highlights the vast ethnographic groupings that made up his formidable military force, including the notable Slavic slave element, which, I might add, are the only slave troops mentioned.
Did you have a car on finance with Black Horse anytime since 2007? At Complex Law.
certain contingents of professional troops would have been black, but then the rest of the black individuals that we find fighting for the Moors, with the Moors, as Moors, by the way they are indicated in medieval European Christian sources, would be slave combatants. That is
Metatron, like the other modern revisionists, emphasize the often exaggerated element of black slave troops, but fail to point out that the largest slave element of any Moorish force was almost always the Circassian or Caucasian slave element. They also fail to point out the kind of phenotypic impact this would have had on the Moorish population, instead treating pale skin as the default and dark skin as the exception, in spite of this being in total contradiction to the historical record. These facts entirely refute the criminally inaccurate caption written by the Wikipedia authors falsely stating, "The Moorish army of Almanzor." Far from Moorish, this army seemed to be largely made up of Slavic slaves and Visigothic mercenaries, as is depicted. In the haste to perpetuate the narrative that the word Moor was no different to the word Muslim, they, in fact, rob this diverse cast of medieval Muslim characters of their true identity. This is something they may regret in years to come. They do this, totally disregarding the diversity of characters. To declare the presence of these non-blacks as proof of the ethnicity of the Moors is comparable to suggesting that the presence of non-black revelers at rap and jazz concerts proves that Negroes can be of any race. It is total conflation and an exercise of fuzzy logic. Now that we've explored the false identification of various Muslim personalities as being Moors, when they clearly are anything but, let us now explore the presence of actual Moors named within the Cantigas de Santa Maria and...
Right, are you lot ready now? This is where you see that people know what they're talking about when they write it. And these are the people that wrote what they wrote, right? So, like he said, he only going to listen to the people them that lived at the time. So listen to the people that live at the time, please.
Manuscripts from a similar time period. Critically, this analysis of the manuscripts will simultaneously correct the misinformation regarding the term as being interchangeable with the word Muslim, since you will see the Moors are something much more simple than what is being claimed. In this first image, we see a visibly dark-skinned man with an African phenotype at the feet of the Virgin Mary, and unlike the vague examples falsified by Wikipedia, the caption is clear and without ambiguity. The caption reads, "How the Moor fled to a safe place," likely capturing the general essence of plight and danger faced by the Moors in the increasingly Visigothic Christian regions of Iberia. The depicted man, who happens to be black, is a Moor. Let's review another image from the Cantiga de Santa Maria. In this image, we see a party of visibly dark-skinned people of African phenotype, seemingly holding musical instruments, approaching a church. And for clarity, the caption reads, "How the Moors tried to in the church." Even without an exact translation, we have more than enough data to infer that these dark-skinned, phenotypically black people are once again clearly being defined as the Moors, and without ambiguity. Another image from the Cantigas de Santa Maria appears to show a dark-skinned man, once again of African phenotype. He seems to yield himself before men of the clergy, and once again the caption reads, "How the Moor told his lord he would be taken captive."
El Moro.
Once again, we are able to squarely identify the man in the image, a phenotypically black man, as a Moor. So not only do we have a clear understanding on all of these images that black people are opaquely defined as Moors, but, perhaps more interestingly, they are, in this case, objectively not Muslims, but Christians. Surely this proves that the word Moor was not restricted to Islam. Moreover, if Moors was a way to describe any Muslim, as asserted by Metatron, then why was it seemingly reserved for black people, and seemingly not restricted to those of the Islamic faith, but seemingly any faith? This definition of Moor is broadly consistent with the early modern era definition of the word, found in 17th to 19th century dictionaries that plainly define a Moor as a Negro. Not surprisingly, this definition agrees with the ancient definition of the word Moorus, which, in consistency with this definition, also means black. In addition to this...
And this was another point that I wanted to make. You, in your haste, kept talking about the 7th century. And when I was listening, I said to myself, why is he only going through to the 7th century? And this is the reason why. Because he will go and tell you that the Moor came from this and this and this, and that other people call people Moors. That is the truth. However, if you're looking at the root word, look at what they say up on the screen. yeah, with a quote from Shakespeare showing you that Negro and Moor is often interchangeable. Do you understand? Interchangeable. Like brother and friend. Interchangeable. You get what I'm saying? So when this guy's talking about the 7th century and so on and so forth and this and this and this, people were being called Moors before that. And there's your evidence. Latin, Greek. Do you understand? So when this guy's talking about 7th century and you're going to talk about people that lived at the time, what about the people that made the damn word? What about the people that made the damn word? Did they not tell you who they were and who they were describing when they used the term Moor? And that's not to say, again, that Arabs didn't later become Moors or have the title of Moor and were some of the more well-known Moors. That's not refutable. That is the truth. That is what happened at a later date. But as we go on, and we will continue, yeah, you're going to see, you will see the actual truth. Let's go.
This, we have numerous depictions contemporaneous to the events of the Cantigas de Santa Maria of people defined as Moors appearing across Europe.
Saint Maurice. Saint Maurice. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, Saint Maurice. Oh, what was that? That quick drying wood paint. It does what it says on the tin. Maurice.
And often they are patronized as Christians with no reference to Islam. The difficulty this presents to detractors is now they have to present a cogent argument proving the word spontaneously took on a different meaning during bursts in the Middle Ages before inevitably...
And the other thing I want to give to you lot and ask you lot to have a look at, Ron Seal, quick drying wood paint. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, the other thing I want to give to you is this, yeah. Historical continuity. With all things, whatever you're going to argue, and this is a piece of advice to anyone, whatever you're going to argue about history, make sure that you are able to provide historical continuity. Because without that, your argument falls flat. Now, room for debate, we'll talk about 7 AD onwards. Well, we know that in 698, the Arabs conquered North Africa, some of North Africa. I think it was Tripoli. 698-7, they conquered somewhere else. Do you know what I'm saying? They conquered places back to back over a 5-year span. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So this is where, yeah, you have to start looking at historical continuity and when and where people came in and started to have the same name. Do you understand me? Yeah. But from before that, you show me one Arab person, show me just one brother. Yeah. Before that time, that was classed as a Moor. Yeah. Now we are seeing that Latin Italy and Greece already had a description for the Moors and what they classed as Moors. And it was interchangeable with Niger or Niger. Yeah. Black. That's what it was interchangeable with. They're showing you this. Okay. So let us play it. Let us go.
Returning to its original definition, this proposition is utterly ridiculous. In reality, the definition of the word has never changed. It seems everywhere we are faced with obscurity and ambiguity in the case of Eurocentric claims, the simple and clear truth of the black Africanity of the Moors is reaffirmed. Even the very sources chosen by the dissenters defy their faux logic. One can only imagine that they hope and assume that their false claims will not be reviewed with rigor. However, just like their arguments made against Black Egypt, their attempts to democratize the achievements of phenotypically black people to others fails to yield any solid evidence. In closing of this chapter, it's important to note the Cantigas de Santa Maria, at its core, is a songbook. It was never designed to be an accurate historical resource or a tool of recourse for anthropologists. Songs of yesteryear, like songs of today, utilize hyperbole and artistic interpretation. They are not subject to the kinds of rigor and objectivity one would expect to see in a royal portrait or a book of histories or the annals of a ruling class. Yet, as you can see, this single book has become somewhat of a go-to for denialists of the black Africanity of the Moors. What's even more interesting is, as questionable as a resource as it is, as I've demonstrated, when examined without bias, its contents must still be sorely disappointing, as they do not serve their lies at all. In summation, the Moors were phenotypically dark-skinned people who, if they were alive today, would be classified as black. Be sure to tune in for part 2, where we will be exploring the Moors in historical portraiture.
Brits born
So. You brought me 2 images. I presented to you quite a few. And also debunked this whole king, this play and watch from this book when there's no description of him whatsoever in the book. You heard it live. You heard it. There's no description of him whatsoever. So why would this guy decide that this piece of Wikipedia is irrefutable to the point where he's telling people he don't want to hear nothing about no other videos or no other whatever? Well, you know, it's a bit ignorant and it's a bit stupid. Yeah. So so I've got today's a book, Encyclopedia of Blacks in European History and Culture. It's got 2 volumes. Yeah, it's got 2 volumes, and this is page 355, and the chapter is about Moors. Yeah. And we'll go on and we'll say, the Romans controlled Western North Africa, what they call Mauritania, from Maori, but what is today Morocco and Algeria. Moors figured prominently as an ally of Carthage against Rome in the Punic Wars, and accompanied Carthaginian general Hannibal in his campaigns. Moorish conversion to Islam in the late 7th century formed a formidable force with Arab allies in allies, yeah? So again, they're clearly showing you a differential already. Arabs, Moorish convert. So even before they became Islamic, they were called Moors. These historians are giving you the differences. They're telling you and they're showing you. Let us continue. In 711, Tariq ibn Ziyad led an African invasion of Spain. Now, Tariq. I'll get to that. Don't worry. I'll get to that. His army crossed the Pyrenees into the kingdom of the Franks, where their advance was stopped at the Battle of Tours in 732 by Charles Martel. Withdrawing back into Spain in 756, Abd al-Rahman found the Umayyad dynasty establishing a long period of Moorish Islamic rule. The Moors had a profound impact on the cultures of the areas that they conquered, particularly in Spain. The Moors brought silk and crops such as rice, cane, sugar, dates, lemon, ginger, and cotton. They are thought to have brought the lute and early version of the guitar, the kithara, and are further credited with understanding the curvilinear nature of light rays, eventually leading to the development of corrective lenses. Yeah. So this was to be fair, I kind of moved on because there was a comment by someone before about contribution to society historically, and they've done nothing. So I just wanted you to hear that bit. But let me get to the part I wanted you to really read. The term Moor derives from the Greek word Mauros, which means black or very dark skin. In Latin, the word became Mauro, plural, Maori. In the Middle Ages, the descriptions of Moors range from black, dark skin to swarthy in complexion. Such terms are subjective and reflect the diverse ethnicities of Africa. which through conquest and intermarriage became even more ambiguous. For example, Berbers, the original inhabitants of Northwest Africa, became a mixture of a variety of peoples from East Africa, North Africa, West Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa. Is that not correct? Is that not correct? So, Al Tariq. Should we go on to Al Tariq? This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's go on to Al Tariq. Let's go on to Al Tariq.
And thus associating the Arab arms with the final victory. It was Tariq's army that, supplied with reinforcements by Musa, finally defeated King Roderick in battle at the mountain range of Seguiuela, killing the Visigothic king in the process and commencing an influx of Africans into Spain by the thousands. As expressed, if somewhat exaggerated, in Bronson and Rashidi's The Moors in Antiquity, in the Golden Age of the Moor, page 55, stating that so eager were they to come that some are said to have floated over on tree trunks. It was the swelling of Moorish civilization with this largely indigenous black African populace that served as the militant fuel for Moorish domination across the southern European landscape. Elucidated by a study in the 1992 edition of the Journal of Human Biology entitled Importation Route of the Sickle Cell Trait.
Right. DJH. DJH. Room for debate. Chicken George. This is the bit that's going to smash you out of the park. This is why I said to you, I don't need long. I don't need long. Not only have I just drawn for depictions and writings, what show you that the Spanish and the Portuguese knew who they were calling Moors. Huh? They knew who they were calling Moors. And the Moors knew who they were calling Arabs. And the Greeks knew who they were calling Moors, and so did the Romans. The only people that don't know who they were calling Moors is us today in this age. And after this next clip, if you still don't believe it, you ain't gonna believe anything because you're ignorant. And that's the truth of it. That will be the truth of it. Because some of y'all talk about science. Cool. Let's get into the science. Let's get into the science.
Into Portugal, contributions of molecular epidemiology, the abstract of which can be read as follows. To elucidate the origin and spread of the sickle cell trait into the Portuguese population, we examined 9 polymorphic DNA markers within the beta-globin gene cluster defining the haplotype. The population sample included 64 sickle cell gene-bearing individuals from defined Portuguese-speaking white, black, and Asian Indian populations. The nature and geographic distribution of the different beta-S haplogroups in Portugal suggests that the sickle cell
Oh, see this one here. This one's a key domino. Yeah, if you ever played domino, this is a key domino. Veli, this is a key domino. Watch the key domino. Watch the flipping key domino on this joker. DJH mole.
Trait has been imported twice. Between the 8th and 13th centuries of the Mediterranean basin in association with the Benin haplotype, coinciding with Moorish occupation, and after the 15th century from Africa over an Atlantic route, associated with the Senegal and Bantu haplotypes, coinciding with the transatlantic slave trade. Robin Walker concisely sums up the implications of these findings. There are a number of different sickle cell haplotypes. Among them are the Benin haplotype, the Senegalese haplotype, the Asian and Arab haplotype, etc. Had the Islamic culture been predominantly Arab?
That's the first domino. That's the first domino. Did you notice? Arab and Indian, Asian, sorry, is grouped together. Grouped together. Look at it. Grouped together. And where's Benin, people? Where's Benin? So when they talk about people fleeing from Africa on logs, is it not possible? Most possible from West Africa. Interesting. But let's continue. Yeah, that's your first domino.
Arab, it would have been the Asian and Arab haplotype that would have been introduced into Portuguese populations between the 8th and 13th centuries, and not the Benin haplotype. Furthermore, the researchers have been able to distinguish between the sickle cell imported after the 15th century from the sickle cell imported between the 8th and the 13th centuries. This separates the sickle cell introduced by enslaved Africans from that introduced by the Moorish African conquerors. This is strong evidence that the majority of the Moors and Berbers were Negroes, who carried the Benin haplotype into the Portuguese populations, and if they did this in Portugal, then they certainly did this in Spain. This is compounded.
Are you hearing that? First set of people in that area. They brought the first bouts of sickle cell. All the others came later. They came later. And again, we can accept that they came later and had some influence and they done their thing. You get me? We're not trying to deny that part. You get me? Yeah? But here we go. Here we go. This is the truth of the matter. The DNA don't lie, no? The DNA don't lie, no? Is this not evidence? Is this not evidence? DJ H in the pool. You're getting shred to pieces, bro. Shred to pieces, bro. I'm being serious. You're getting shred to pieces. You should never have done this. You're a silly boy. A silly boy. Yeah? Imagine I came live for you, you know, brother. Yeah? Understand what that means. Yeah? You don't draw out, man. Like, you don't draw out people. Yeah? It don't end well. It's not gonna end well. You gotta get out of here.
Founded by historian and author Marcus Hatzstein, editor of the important modern work on Islamic culture, Spanish Umayyads, History and Islam, Art and Architecture, in which he states that the Arabs in Spain were mostly southern Arabs and Yemenites, people of whom even today many are Negroid and would have been even more so over 1,000 years ago prior to the propagation of Caucasian phenotypes in the Turkic Ottoman expansion. Taken with the Africans, we can conclude that the Islamic culture of Spain was largely a Negro achievement. Professor Stanley Lane Poole bolsters this notion on page 28 of The Story of the Moors in Spain, stating with regards to Moorish civilization that the Berbers were more numerous than the Arabs, a view shared by Professor John G. Jack.
Are you lot hearing this? Are you lot hearing this? They are telling you. Like, remember, you know, for y'all that want to say whatever you want to say, these are European people. You get me? These are European people, yeah, and they're well refuted. And I don't believe that these people have an agenda. This was before the days of wokeism. So what would be the reason for them doing this? Is this because their goal was the scientific endeavor? And that was the major factor in them studying what they studied and coming to the conclusions that they came to. Is that the major factor out of scientific endeavor and wanting to learn and be able to report the facts of what they found? And that's what they're doing. But DJ H Fool, aka no room for debate, because I'm just going to make videos and then hide in a little dark room. Yeah, cool. You do your thing, bro. You do your thing, bro. I'ma do mine. And trust me, when I do my thing, bro, as you can see, yeah, pain.
Jackson on page 189 of the Introduction to African Civilizations that the Arabs were always a minority in the so-called Arab culture of the Middle Ages. And if the modern sources aren't evidence enough, we need only look to the eyewitness accounts of people who saw the Moors with their own eyes.
Woo! People them, it gon' get horrible now, you know. Remember what the man said? What about the accounts of the people that lived at the time? See them blood clot, yeah. See them, yeah.
11th century accounts from the Song of Roland, an epic poem recounting the heroic deeds of Charlemagne in his reconquista against the Moorish invasion of France, states in describing the Moors that he fears not God, the son of St. Mary. Black is that man as molten pitch that seethes. Better he loves murder and treachery than to have all the gold of Galicia. We could look to additional quotes that historical commentator Trill Black elucidates in a recent video presentation on the Moors in Europe. Take Isidore of Seville in his Etymology.
Wait. I just want to say this as well, people, while I did it for the other brother. True Black is another channel, another fantastic channel. Well researched, well read, well spoken, presents his videos extremely well. Yeah. And again, once again, there's always sources. There's always sources. There's always what's there. And there's plenty of it. There's always seems to be more when we actually dig deeper into things. There's always seems to be more references to Moors. Excuse the pun. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And Arabs being different to the Moors. And the Berbers being different to the Arabs. Can you explain to me why the people at that time saw them different? If you can't, that's fine. But it's what they did. But I'm sure in your ignorance, you probably won't accept this. Like I said, you probably turn on your little red light in your little dark room. Saliva dribbling down your fucking top. I'm gonna fucking get him. I'm gonna get him. Get me, bro. Yeah, I don't business, bro. You called for me. I arrived. You get me? You should have known better. You should have known. You should have known. You should have known. You should have known.
Chapter 9, Part 2, Paragraph 122, stating that the Medes mingled with those Libyans who lived closest to Spain. Little by little, the Libyans altered the name of these people, in their barbarous tongue calling the Medes Moors, Maurus. Although the Moors are named by the Greeks for their colour, the Greeks call black Maurus, and indeed, blasted by blistering heat, the Moors have a countenance of a black colour. Or by poet Flavius Chrysonius Corippus, in his works on the Libyan War, in which he states, akin to darkness, its face seemed Moorish, fearful in its black colour. A quote which Trill...
Are you hearing that? Are you hearing that? Moorish, black, Negro, all interchangeable. They all seem to be meaning the same thing. And at not one point in any of these descriptions, when they say Moorish, do they say Moorish Arab? Where do you ever see Moorish Arab in these descriptions, in these conquests, in these battles? Where? How? When? We don't. We hear Moorish, black, Negro interchangeable. We don't hear Moorish Arab, Persian. We don't. Let's continue.
Black rightly exposes as being translated within modern sources to fearful in its dark colour, detaching the quote's explicit reference to blackness in favour of a falsification that attempts to whitewash Moorish identity as a continuation of modern Arab North African identity. Not unlike similar attempts we observe with regards to another indigenous Black African civilization. He also rightly points out that this would be a woefully unpoetic repetition of the same word by such a famous poet, while simultaneously contradicted by its original Latin description, similarly highlighted in the same video as cognata tenebris, maura udibator facies nigroque colore horrida. The word for darkness tenebris and black nigroque bearing no phonetic similarity and exposing clear...
Okay, so as you can see, Moor, Negro, black, darkness, tenebris. Again, differences, linguistic differences. Now that's three separate things I'm slapping you with, broski. At any point, you could just type in the chat, throw in a towel, and I'll stop. At any point. And I promise you I'll stop. But believe me, yeah, you better hope there's a referee or something that's gonna save you. Cause, bro, you can see it right there on your screen. Yeah, tenebris, maura. Two separate words. Two separate things. But we're gonna turn around and say, no, more means dark also. No. There's the word for dark right there.
distinctions between the two, which modern Euro-American academia continually attempts to smooth over. Nigroke, a word denoting Ethiopians and Nigritians, that is to say Negroes, who according to Roman poet Claudian in his Bello Gildonico, dwell beside the waters of the Gur, most famous of the rivers of Ethiopia, that overflows its banks as if it had been another Nile. Author J.
That river is the Niger River. That river is the Niger River.
A. Rogers elaborates in his work, Nature Knows No Color Line, that the Gir referred to here is the Niger or Niger, from which the term Niger finds its origins. We find similar reluctance modern sentiment which J.A. Rogers further Smith in his Dictionary of Greek and Roman Geography. To the Greeks, Romans, and Gauls, the Moors were known as the black people. He adds,
He's going down! He's on the ropes! He's hurt! Can somebody save him? Brother, just type in the chat and I'll throw in the towel, bro. Type in the chat and I will throw in the towel. Actually, I won't. Fuck you. I tried it. You ain't smart, bro. You ain't a scholar.
The word Mauritania, inhabited by black populations, was later called Nigritia. Moor, therefore, was the equivalent of Negro. Concluding finally that since therefore the Romans invaded Britain, France, Belgium, Germany, and other parts of Europe, they undoubtedly took the word Moor, meaning a black people, with them. Evidenced in Shakespearean usage of the word Moor as a synonym for Negro, i.e. in his famous Othello, amongst other works. Or similarly in Christopher Marlowe's Lust's Dominion of the Lascivious Queen, written before Shakespeare's Othello the Moor, and also uses Negro and Moor interchangeably several times. A play which deals with the illicit love of Eleazar, Prince of Fez, with the Queen of Spain, who has a child by him. Passages of the play read as follow.
Pause. Quickly. There's one in the ruling. There's one. Wait there. Let's go again. Yo, did we see him? Did we see him? Yeah? I'm going to put it back on the screen. Don't worry, yeah? But did we see him? None in the ruling class. Interesting. What was his name? Eleazar, Prince of Fez. So as a prince, he probably had a father that was a king, right? Let's play. Let it play, as Veli would say. Bars.
There goes the Moor. He that makes usage of the word Moor as a synonym for Negro, i.e. in his famous Othello, amongst other works. Or similarly in Christopher Marlowe's Lust's Dominion of the Lascivious Queen, written before Shakespeare's Othello the Moor, and also uses Negro and Moor interchangeably several times. A play which deals with the illicit love of Eleazar, Prince of Fez, with the Queen of Spain, who has a child by him. Passages of the play read as follows. There goes the Moor, he that makes a cuckold of the Spanish Queen, that black prince of devils. In the book, he is also called the Negro.
Hey, DJ H. Hey, bruvs. Do you want me to stop? Do you want me to stop, DJ H? D.
King and the soft-skinned Negro, this Queen, written before Shakespeare's Othello the Moor, and also uses Negro and Moor interchangeably several times. A play which deals with the illicit love of Eleazar, Prince of Fez, with the Queen of Spain, who has a child by him. Passages of the play read as follows. There goes the Moor, he that makes a cuckold of the Spanish queen, that black prince of devils. In the book, he is also called the Negro King and the soft-skinned Negro. Sentiment that's echoed in the literature of yet more European writers of the time, to an extent that can perhaps be concluded as symptomatic of a real climate of the age, in which miscegenation between the Moorish conquerors and Europeans was rife. To the anger of some, but obvious fascination.
This is how you know these things are real, because man like DJ H will say there's no ruling class, rare, so on and so forth, this and this and this. And look at the people them that lived at the time. Now, these are the people that lived at the time that have written about things, what are going on in a society. And that you lot been cuckolding for a minute. Hey, DJ H, you been cuckolding for a minute, bro. Yeah? That's the situation, yeah? But yeah, I click big man and try and misrepresent my words. Yeah? You flipping fool, you. Yeah? You made the biggest mistake you ever could have made on these live streams. Yeah? Your career's ended, bro. Yeah? You haven't, but you got no, the way I see it is like this, yeah? And I don't even want to talk about the beef stuff, yeah? But there's people that you go at, yeah? And rightly so. Rightly so. Yeah, you should go at them when they make a mistake and do their foolishness, yeah? I think so, I agree with that. But what happens is along the way, you've decided to try and go at me and try to present something, yeah, which you have no actual evidence of. You just saw something and you thought, oh, let me share this and try and refute motion, yeah, which is fine. You know, refute me with something, that's fine. I don't mind if you try to refute something I say or an idea or whatever I have, yeah, that's totally fine. I don't mind. But at least do your due diligence. That's all I'll say is, I don't mind if you present a video, a source, a book, whatever, to me to go and read, because I will go and read it. You get me? I will go and read it, bro. So that's why I offered you to have the conversation, because you could have been up here playing your sources, sharing your screen, etc., etc. You get me? And we could have had a really good conversation. Yeah, obviously I talk with passion and I might say things that you might, you know, not like in certain ways that I talk, yeah. And if I offend you, I don't mean to. It's just the way that I speak, you get me? Yeah, but if you was on there having a conversation, that would probably be a little bit different, because I want to afford you your time to have your say and, you know, present your arguments too. You feel what I'm saying? And that's only right. Like I said, this is a beef-free zone, so I'm not going to be a host and start treating you like you and I got some beef. You get me? We have a difference of opinion on something, and I'm arguing my point passionately. You feel what I'm saying to you? And that's just that. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, bro, you're getting your ass kicked. That's the reality. You are getting your ass kicked. One, because you misrepresented my whole premise of my argument. To jump on some wave about Moors and da-da-da-da-da, when the whole premise of my argument was nothing to do with Moors. My argument was to do with Black people had been recorded in England before certain tribes. That's all my argument was. Not even to say that they should be called English. I don't care about that. You get what I'm saying to you? I'm not bothered about that. If people want to be called English or don't want to be called English, that's up to them. That's how they view themselves. You feel what I'm saying to you? That's fine. I don't watch that, yeah? What you eat don't make me shit. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So into you and people them, I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I play this video, I'll get to the end of this video, and if people want to jump on, have a conversation and talk about the topic, because that's what we're only going to do, is talk about a topic. Yeah, I'm going to fuck who you got beef with. Yeah, simple as, and you shouldn't give a fuck who I got beef with. It's just that simple. yeah, and any beef I got with people ain't gonna be held online if it gets to that level, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got a family to look after, and that's my priority. You see what I'm saying to you? So boom, if you don't want to have debates and stuff about topics, yeah, we're good. I'll try and stream as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care about money. It's not about money. You know what I'm saying? It's about truth and education. You know what I'm saying? And we can all learn something. All learn something. There's not one of us that hasn't got the capacity to learn. It's whether we allow ourselves to learn something. You get me? So I'm hoping I'm bringing you sources that made you look at something and be like, right, you know what? I'm going to look into that. And even if you look into it and you find something to refute me and you present that, go ahead. Feel free. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm open to learn. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm open to learn. So you can bring your sources. We can go over the sources. You can go over mine. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue anyway. DJH, I'm sorry, bro. It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. That's what I'm gonna say.
Against mixing between white and non-white peoples in the relatively recent anti-miscegenation laws of America. Laws which ranged from punishment in the taxing of mixed-race couples to the threatening of life imprisonment and even death by mob violence.
The reality is that racial tension in America has always centered around the black male body, and specifically the black the black male brute, and most importantly, keeping him away from white women was often these with many things repressed in American society. This hatred also manifested as a violent sexual taboo. The fear and hatred of the black male body somehow also translated into fascination and fetishization.
As stated in Eugenics, Race and Marriage, by the late 1800s, 38 US states had anti-miscegenation statutes. By 1924, the ban on interracial marriage was still in force in 29 states. Which brings us finally back to Europe and our original case in point, the Gelre Armorial, and its fascinating...
Oh, just for you people that keep talking about these different times that people came to Britain, you see that? Chinese man in England in the 1930s. I said this and I'll keep saying it. England in particular, the United Kingdom, but England in particular has been a melting pot for centuries. Centuries. Do you go what I'm saying to you? And it's had to have been because it's important that we know this and we understand this and stop trying to take ownership of a place that your people also traveled to and settled. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Now, look, the political issues that are going on and the things that people fear, that's a whole different conversation and that's for a whole different stream. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, so we won't really go into that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But yeah, we'll continue.
Fascinating abundance of Moorish Negro iconography. It's important to state that this armorial isn't alone in this either. Moorish depictions pepper European heraldry in weapon books from throughout the Middle Ages. Take another German weapon book produced 200 years later, Johann Christoph Sawyer and Franz Rasso Gotthard's Formula and Coat of Arms 1597, and its coats of arms rife with Moorish crests, often matching without fault the shield elements of the corresponding families. Similarly echoed in the Book of Messengers of the Brotherhood of St. Christoph of Arlberg, dating to between the 14th and 15th centuries. Or in the Armorial of Conrad von Grunenberg, an important burgher and knight and a descendant of a patrician dynasty from Constance, located on Lake Constance in southwestern Germany, dating to 1480 and depicting
what I would say to people is this, yeah, in the interest of scholarly honesty. Yeah, you have to. This is the kind of streams and look for them. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think you're gonna be able to. I don't think you're gonna be able to get the whole of the information in one go. So unless you've got a pen and a paper, the best bet would be to obviously replay the stream, pause, search for these books. A lot of them are online now. You can look at for free. Yeah, and I can tell you now I've got plenty of tabs that are just, yeah, cray. You get me? With all heaps of information and that, yeah, because I go and research. I don't just sit and listen to a video or look on the first thing that comes up and says, yeah, this is what's going on, or this is what the people them that lived at the time said. When there's whole heap more references, and again, it's got to be, you got to do your due diligence, because otherwise someone like myself is going to go and play something like this for you. And remember, this is part 1 of 2, and I've got another 3 tabs open. You get what I'm saying? This could be a long, hard slog, bro, DJH. And all you got to do is just type in the chat, throw in the towel. That's all you got to do. Let's go.
The quote, "The coats of arms of barons, dukes, margraves, archbishops, free cities and towns, and orders of knights from throughout Germany, as well as the royal coats of arms of the kingdoms of Europe." Crests that can also be identified outside of rolls of arms. Take that of English politician Colonel Silius Titus of Bussy, captain of Deal Castle, and groom to the bedchamber of King Charles II, a man who began his political aspirations by writing a pamphlet entitled Killing No Murder in 1657, a pamphlet that advocated for the assassination of Oliver Cromwell. The same Oliver Cromwell whose late 15th and early 16th century policies legalised the destruction of British art on a scale that historian and author Dominic Selwood described in a 2015 article. No one can be sure of the exact figure, but it is estimated that the destruction started and legalised by Cromwell amounted to 97% of the English art then in existence. Statues were hacked down.
Are you hearing that? Are you hearing that? 97% of artwork. Do you know what that could have shown? Do you know what that could have shown? Do you know what that could have shown? That could have shown a homogeneous, multicultural, well-functioning, within reason. Do you understand? Within reason. Society. With people of different cultures and ethnicities in high places of ranking, and in well-to-do places, and having well-to-do places in society. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me that, you know, there's all this long history, long crests, and within these crests, I just wanted to ask people. And this is where, again, DJ H, this is where you get another box in your head. This is where you get, either you get a backhand this time, yeah, a disrespectful backhand, like, yeah, because I beg you, please do go through those books of crests and find me the same amount. Do you not even the same amount? Find me half the amount in Arabs on those crests denoting Moorish. Now, even the explanations that they give for why those crests are there are because these people conquered this set of people, so they decided to put this black person on their crest to represent them. Okay, that's very strange in itself, right? However, they're saying that they depict these Moors, not Arabs, they depict these Moors on their crest because it's who they defeated in battle. Okay, they're all black. They're all black. You just seen it. This is why I say, if you want to really be a truth seeker, and if you really are a truth seeker, and you really are into history and learning, and not just for the sake of trying to rubbish a people, or, you know, talk down on the people, or try to say that people have never contributed nothing to society, or never been here before, and and so on and so forth. Well, you know, the reason why Londinium is the capital of England is because it was a trade hub. It was the financial capital from the Roman times. That is why it became the capital. You all know this. You all know this. Could they tell you it? You should have learned it in some elements of history that is true. Now, there are parts that are left out, and we don't know why they're left out. You get me? All right, if you don't think it's DJH, it's cool. If it's not DJH, I apologize. But you know what? You probably think like that anyway, so fuck it. Whoever feels like that, I'm addressing you. And if you don't like it, boo-hoo. You get me? I ain't telling people about their mother because, like I said, this ain't that kind of place. So it's a boo-hoo. You understand? Boom. But let's continue. Yeah, there's only a few more minutes, so we'll continue.
Frescoes were smashed to bits, mosaics were pulverized, illuminated manuscripts were shredded, wooden carvings were burned, precious metalwork was melted down, shrines were reduced to rubble. This vandalism went way beyond a religious reform. It was a frenzy obliterating the artistic patrimony of centuries of indigenous craftsmanship with an intensity of hatred for imagery and depicting the divine that has strong and resonant parallels today.
You lot see St.
Returning
Maurice,
to
yeah?
Moorish
You
artistry,
did see St. Maurice,
we
yeah?
see this similarly echoed in the coats of arms of Sir John III de Grailly, who in 1364 commanded the forces of Charles II during the 100 Years' War, until he was eventually defeated and captured, and who was hailed by chronicler Jean Froissart as an ideal of chivalry. We could look more broadly to major European families themselves, such as the German Tuches, a Protestant family based in the city of Nuremberg, in which they played an important part in the economic and cultural development as well as in the local politics, and where in 1340 they were admitted to the governing council, acquiring Simmelsdorf Castle in 1598 and becoming ennobled in 1697. We could look to the coats of arms of the Pucci family, a prominent noble family in Florence over the course of many centuries, and constantly there was considerable Negro strain, such as in Alessandro de' Medici, Duke of Pen, first Duke of the Florentine Republic, and ruler of Florence from 1530 to his death in 1537, a man who in life was also nicknamed Il Moro. We could even set our sights briefly to the consistency in Moorish iconography in the crests of cities and towns themselves, as seen littered across the southern German state of Bavaria. We also see Moorish depictions or depictions of people of African descent outside of coats of arms in European artistry from pre-11th century across the eras into the modern period, of whom in many cases historians can't ascertain the specific identities of the figures, or perhaps in some cases don't even bother to, generalizing them as simply Africans or slaves. Returning to coats of arms, and with a now superficial recognition of the existence of Moorish iconography, we have to begin to inquire as to the relation between the Moors in question and the coats of arms of the people and families they're adorning.
And here's a popular one for you to look at. Is it Schwarzkopf? Schwarzkopf? And it's a black picture with someone with an afro. And I always wonder, what the flip of, why is that picture there? It's clearly somebody with an afro. All right, the image is black, right? It's just a total black image, so you can't see eyes, nothing like that, lips, whatever. But you could clearly see the afro. And I just think, Schwarzkopf. And then I studied a bit of German, realized Schwarz means black. And yeah, the pieces of the puzzle start to come together. Seeing the brother provide not even 5% of the sources and information that I'm providing. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, this is information you can all go and look for and research. You know what I'm saying? For yourselves. For yourselves. There are museums in places like Shropshire and Gloucestershire and those kind of places, yeah, with images of black people from long, long before slavery. I've seen them. I've been to these places. And you know what? I wish I'd have took pictures. I wish I'd have took pictures. And I'm gonna make it an actual aim to go and revisit these places and actually take the pictures and present them. And just present them for you lot so that you lot can see the truth of Britain, and the fact that it's always been how it is. Now the numbers might have, you know, changed, etc., etc. That's a different argument again. And you know, I can see people's concerns with certain things. You know that, like I said, I have them. There's certain things I don't like. You feel me? So yeah, but let's get to truth first and foremost, because the only way you're gonna actually defeat what's ahead is by looking at truth and saying, actually, we all been misled. You know what I'm saying? And we all been misled for a long time. But some people decide, I want to perpetuate the misleading. Why? And then you sit down there, like I said, rightly so. You call out certain people for their behavior and the things they say and the things they do. Rightly so. You really do. But at the same time, when it comes down to it, you're just happy to perpetuate a lie as well. So you know different. It starts to become the pot calling the kettle black. That's what it starts to become, because at the end of the day, why would you sit there and misconstrue a whole conversation and misrepresent everything that I said and my points, and then next thing you know, you're making some videos trying to sound like you some intellectual? I don't care about point scoring. I care about telling the truth and what else is out there. Do you get what I'm saying? This is why I search for these things. I'm not sitting watching any video. Yeah. But if you ain't presenting sources, I don't want to hear nothing. And if your sources are flipping not up to speed, bro, they're gonna get called out. And that source that you presented, not up to speed, bro. Yeah, you mentioned about ruling classes. Well, whether they were the ruling classes that had those crests or the people that were defeated, whichever way you look at it, those people had kingdoms that had to be defeated. And at no point are you seeing Arab folk, what we call Arab folk. Yeah, when you saw the clip about the sickle cell, yeah, they showed you it put Indian and Arab in the same box. And what was the first arrival of sickle cell, did they say? From where? Benin. From Benin. I don't understand why this is hard to even grasp at the moment for people. Yeah. The first arrival of sickle cell into Portugal was from Benin. Not Arab, not Indian, not European, none of that. Yeah. Benin, West Africa. Those were the people that were being called the Moors. Let's go.
The image to the left is a very powerful image, and it's believed to be of Simonetta de Covalich. Simonetta de Covalich was the mother of Alexandra de Medici, the African woman patriarch of the Medici family. At a certain point in Renaissance Europe, the Charles V's daughter, which would have made him ultimately perhaps the successor to Charles V if he had not been assassinated. This is a person of African descent.
Now. What say you people? What say you people? Have I presented in this hour and 40 minutes enough evidence to refute the claims of room for debate. You can be honest. If you don't think that I've refuted his claims that the Moors were not black, they were Arabs. There were no Moors in the ruling class whatsoever. None of that. And the Moors means Arab and dark-skinned. But we've had the earlier descriptions of Moors from before the 8th century. Do you get what I'm saying? So we've got these descriptions from the Greeks and the Romans. We've got these definitions, and yet some people would seek to lie. Now, I feel like slapping people up some more. I might just give. I think I might just give a man 2 more bucks quickly. Yeah, let me give him a quick 2 more bucks. It's a shame I ain't got an actual sparring partner. You get me? It's a shame, but you know what? Sometimes I saw it go. You know what I mean? Sometimes I saw it go. All right. Yo, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry if your feelings get hurt. All right, let's go. I'm sorry, people, if your feelings get hurt, but I can't help it. I can't help it. It wasn't my fault, yeah? It wasn't my fault. I was trying to be cool in that. You get all that. I know there's no sound.
Presentism can be understood in this context as the imposition of present-day perspectives into interpretations of past events. Modern historians and archaeologists seek to avoid presentism, believe it creates a distorted understanding of their subject matter. Whilst this particular example was in reference to a differing, if somewhat overlapping subject matter in the case of ancient Egypt, you will see that mainstream speculation at the justification for Moorish iconography and European heraldry is symptomatic of this very same presentism. Take this 2018 presentation at the New York Morgan Library and Museum titled "The Monstrous Other in Medieval Art."
Sorry, I'm the far left. A band of giant furry wild men attack a castle inhabited. Histories, including the king and queen, are shown with exaggerated features, large eyes.
Pause. Bumbleclap, pause. Yeah? You see, this is what I'm trying to say. Listen, mommy taught me to have mercy on people, you know. She taught me to have mercy on people. Are you not seeing the caricature? Are you not seeing the caricature? Talk to me. Talk to me. Are you not seeing the caricature? Is that not pretty much a version of your prized gollywog? Huh? Is that not the same caricature that you're seeing? It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Crazy, insane.
Bright red lips and absolutely black skin, part of a recurrent European tradition of stereotyping and demonizing people of African descent.
This all-encompassing reference to a so-called recurring European tradition that stereotypes and demonizes people of African descent is an oversimplification of an entire continent spanning centuries and given validity only by the modern continent with its widely differing kingdoms and their similarly differing
Yeah, very,
cultures.
bruv. When you
A fact
click
understated
the link.
in
Oh,
the
let me
all too
click.
frequently poised lens
Sorry, one
that
second.
characterizes historical Europe as a single homogeneous monocultural entity. Are these medieval European depictions of people of African descent also stereotypical or demonizing, falling into the stated time-spanning European tradition of denigrating people of African descent? Dare I say, an extension of minstrel theatre? Or is it glorifying them, and instead to be viewed as evidence that whilst in certain parts of the continent of Europe, during certain periods of time, there reigned notions of anti-blackness? Elsewhere, contrary attitudes reigned, attitudes that perhaps swayed in the entirely opposite direction to the disproportionately popular focus on the demonization of people of African descent based on the contemporary echoes of colonial white supremacy, when in fact it's far more likely that contempt towards others during these time periods wasn't drawn on the basis of ethnicity as they so often are in the 21st century, but on religion, a notion summed up by PhD author Cord Whitaker, Associate Professor in the Department of English and Creative Writing at Wellesley College and specialist in the literature of the Middle Ages in an interview with
circulating about blackness and whiteness, about holiness, about sinfulness, about purity, about impurity. Number of ideas floating around, and they have everything to do with who's Christian and who's Muslim and who's Jewish and who's pagan and who's, and who's something else, who's Zoroastrian. Right? That's
big on yourself, Ellie.
I got
brother. Yo,
oh, one.
They
You
are
say, man, you
keep
try to
people
send for the
in
pepper seed, yeah? And try to send for the pepper seed. Man, this is gonna be a beautiful war, man. It's gonna be fucking lovely, mate. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking lovely, mate. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I can't lie. Yeah, I'm kind of hating still, man. I wish someone done that about a video that I made, man, so I could fucking have a little. You know what I'm saying? I could have had a fucking go at a. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, yeah, man. But
yeah, but I was like, nah, you know.
These times, I've just got a racist lunatics guy mad. Yeah, you got a man that actually likes to go back and forth with information. Fuck yeah, no, cuz. Nah, man.
Yeah, and you know what, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it, and that's why I can respond in a respectful way, even though I'm a little bit hype. It's the battle, innit? You get me, man? Man's hype off the battle. It's been a while. You get me, but you know, I'm hyped for it. You get me? So I'm hoping that the brother mans up. You get me? As his wheat a bit.
You know, DJ shows on this still, man. So I am saying that. I reckon by the weekend you'll at least hear a reply back, or at least a short about Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to the main reply. I'm confident in my prediction. So might not happen still, but you know, it's a prediction.
But you know what it is, brother? I want this. I would like this brother to actually jump on the live. You get me? And I'm hoping that by watching this and maybe seeing how things are going and my stance on things, that he might feel more comfortable to actually say, all right, cool, let me click the link or let's arrange something. Do you get me? Yeah, and I'd be happy for that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a.
Or maybe you guys could exchange emails and arrange a time and a date sort of thing. We're both free at this time. Jump on mine or yours or whatever, or jump on somewhere neutral. Hit it in. Yeah. And let it play. Yeah, trying to edge myself into the beef.
Yeah, and you know what, brother?
I love steak.
And you know what? It would be it would be nice if there is someone impartial that is an evidence-based person, or other people that would actually or maybe nominate one from each side that is a good person to actually have a conversation with.
Facilitate the back and forth.
Yeah, and maybe to
I
even
think that's where it used to be like, obviously, you know, even like, I don't know, maybe when you first come about on the block, that's kind of what it was like, though. Still, you get me, like, bro, it's really information for information, innit? You know, we'd have a little spaz out now and then or whatnot, but the main thing was really the info versus info, fam. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that's it, man. That's it. And you know what? And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Info versus info. You get me? Chat for chat. I don't want no beef. This person, he said, she said. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't business. Yeah, this is education. You get me? Yeah, this is learning. This is relearning. This is stuff that we can all benefit from. Do you get me? In one way or the other. Even if it's just to open your eyes. Even if it's to just say, all right, you know what? I didn't even know that, you know. Like, we can all go through that in life. You get what I'm saying? But we've got to be able to receive it. You get what I'm saying? And it's like we're programming ourselves.
You know what, yeah, I don't know, like, I know that man's good at giving information to show that someone's wrong. Is man good at receiving the information when man's on the road? Like, I'm not saying man's wrong or right or whatever, like, but when is man good at receiving the information when you're in the wrong to sharpen your steel, sharpen your sword, then, or are you gonna resist it, fight to the death? Oh, we'll see.
No, I think.
But I feel that you presented enough information that is worthy of a credible reply with sources, you know, especially as a man tried to call out Base Luke on the source for source talk. Yeah. Man said, what? HP? Heinz. Yeah. How you mean? I got all sources, mate. Yeah, brand sauce, mayonnaise, chop.
That's what I'm trying to say to man, bro.
Yeah, hopefully,
that's what I'm trying to say to him, bro. Like, it's all good, man. We can argue the sources all day long. And you know what? I don't even care if you call me an idiot, a dickhead, a cunt, all that stuff. That stuff gets said in arguments between men. So those stuff, they're by the by. You know what I'm saying to you? So don't ever think that you feel like, I will try my best not to call you that, obviously, yeah, but don't ever think that if you kind of are passionate and you drum them words there, that it's going to descend into all kinds of chaos. Because it's not. Yeah, it's not going to be like that. You get what I'm saying?
Obviously, you know what it is, yeah? On the internet, yeah? The level of disrespect that you not will allow, but will or could receive online compared to in real life is, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, I guess it's not the same level, you get me? Like, right, man, most of the people ain't really gonna carry out the same levels of disrespect that they carry out behind a mic in their front room or an anonymous avatar online than they would if they was like, if we was all just sitting in a room speaking or whatnot. I mean that, so.
Nah, I hear you.
That's why you might allow people to get a little bit wilder than you would in real life. Apart.
You know what I'm gonna do? 1 second. I think what we done? Hour 50. I think I've given this brother enough information to go and research and to refute. I don't think it's right of me to just bombard this guy with information, because that would be slightly dishonest of me. You get me? Because it could take a long time to even process what's been presented so far, you know. So let me. I know it's tempting to just literally just machine gun. You get what I'm saying to you? You just open the Uzi and let it spray. You get me? Clip everything we're going past. You get me?
You've done enough. Yeah, I could chat shit about some of those for a minute and see what I got in it. Like,
yeah,
I think there's enough to reply to without man having to explain anymore. I will say this though, yeah, that when you was presenting the information about there being black people in the UK around that sort of time, before the Romans and with the Romans or whatever, there was doubting that there was any black people of high standing within the Roman Empire as well that came to the UK. Or I'm not sure where that exact. I've seen it before. Still, there's
well, there's one.
a
So
plaque
there's one.
in-
There's
in-
one in. There's one in one time. Yeah.
City of
In
London.
So in Southwark. In Southwark, there was a gentleman who was what was he now? What was it? I'm gonna get the two confused because there was two separate times and one was later, and I don't want to confuse it. And I believe the second one anyway was a black guy that used to be the only person that used to be able to do Spanish silk. He's well documented. He was the only person that could do Spanish silk, and he wouldn't teach anyone else. And it was a long time after that the weaving of Spanish silk then came back into the country, into the UK. You get me? After this guy had died. You get me? And the other one was in Roman time. I can't remember what the guy was now. I'm gonna have to research it, you know. Do you know what? That's moving on. So let me hit that little topic there for that, because that's more going into blacks in England. Do you get what I'm saying? At the minute, we're trying to tackle the black Arab kind of angle that he's presented. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
I didn't really feel like there was really much of an argument against it, because like I thought in a lot of the British literature, English literature, when the Moors are being described, they're being called the blacker Moors or whatever, and obviously they're being depicted as like dark-skinned black people that that they came from like obviously the continent of Africa.
Right, and that's why I have issue. That's why I had issue with him drawing for that Wikipedia source. And listen, you can go to that Wikipedia source here that he's gone for. And I've said this before: we shouldn't write off Wikipedia, because Wikipedia does provide a lot of sources. Yeah, okay, it does if you go onto the right pages. Because remember, people add, so there'll be people from all kinds of persuasions and thoughts and belief systems that will add their context to it, right? And you can then click on those links and learn here and there, and go for different things. And even now, like, I've got a tab open, yeah, and that's the book that I read from, Encyclopedia of Blacks in European History and Culture. It's 2 volumes. The book costs £99.14. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, this is the kind of book that I would buy, and I probably will buy it. You get me? Because I'm that kind of person. However, they did say this: if you want to keep people dumb, you put all the information in books. Why? Because people don't read. People don't read. And I've decided later in my life, you know what? I'm going to read more. Because I used to love reading when I was a youth, and I'm going to read more. And allowing me to read more has given me more reason to search more. And whilst I'm searching more, I'm finding more. Yeah, I'm finding more information. I'm finding more information, and I'm finding more sources. You get me? And more people on YouTube that provide sources and have more information. So it's important. And let me get this clear. Let me make this clear. I was one of the people that believed that Moors were Arabs. Just so you know that. I lived a huge portion of my life.
I believe that there was Moors in with the Arabs and all that. Yeah. So I didn't believe that it was just only black people. I mean, like only Africans as well. But I did believe that there was Africans in different levels, in it, like top, middle, and bottom. Like
see, I didn't believe there was any top though. I didn't believe there was any top. I believe that there was people that could get to middle, and there was just the slaves. You understand me? And they were converted to Islam and became Moors. Do you understand? That's what I believed. Do you understand me? But when you start researching, you start to say, right, hang on a minute. But these people were called Moors before Islam, and it's written right here. Do you understand me? The country Mauritania is called so because of the people with black skin. From Maori. And you've seen the meaning of Maori. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's the issue I want to tackle. And I hope that the brother
let me ask you this on the next question, yeah? I don't think that this applies to room for debate though, yeah, because me personally, I actually don't think room for debate is like one of those sort of like racist lunatic sort of people or whatever. But why do you think it's so important to like a certain type of racist to make sure that there is no positive black history of any sorts that anyone can speak about or look up to or speak highly of? Why do you think there's some people that feel like that and think like that?
I feel it's simple. Justification. The justification for hating people from an Arabic persuasion at the moment is justified by the heinous crimes that they see. They won't amplify the good stuff. They won't amplify those things because it's not on the agenda. It doesn't matter. So it's justification. Do you understand? There was, as you can see, there's been a concerted effort to hide history from the people, from the masses, not just black people, from the masses. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's the truth, from the masses, yeah? All of us have been misled. There's people in China doing research right now and saying, oh my God, we just found this out. Okay, I can play that. There's people doing DNA stuff and all that and telling us all different kinds of things. And I've got all these videos sitting there. You got what I'm saying to you? And the only difference is this, like, I've just not decided to push it. You got what I'm saying to you? I was even chatting to the missus saying, yeah, I'm going to make a little history page on Instagram. I've got all these images and quotes and things like that that will fry people's brains. But at the same time, I didn't have the motivation. And this idiot just motivated me. Do you understand me? This idiot just motivated me. And that was probably the worst thing he could have done. That's probably the worst thing he could have done, because I'm one of them youths, you know. Like, trust me, I could study something for days on end. Trust me, yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy, yeah. I provided you with the sources, broski. I invite you, and you remove the comment on your page, yeah. You removed the comment where I invited you. Well, no, you didn't remove the invite to debate, but you removed me telling you that, bro, don't watch nothing about the live stream. You can do it on my show. It'll be all authentic. There's not going to be no beefing. It'll just be me and you on the stream. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you your space to speak. You know, I'm going to listen intently. That they will set some ground rules, you know? So I hope that you do say to yourself, do you know what? Let's
have it.
Let's have it. You get me? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's have it. You get me? And again, let me clarify. I don't call the guy racist, but I feel like I would like him to explain why he so. Well, I say vehemently. He wasn't vehemently. That would be the wrong word. But why he felt so eager to misrepresent my words for a start. And then it felt like he seemed like he wanted to come across as some intellectual authority over me. Do you understand me? And it's not the first time he did it.
I feel like he's explained that reasoning on his channel previously, where he's saying in the pro-black circles, in the debate circles, people used to go back and forth on emails with information and blah, 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 like that, right? So say someone makes a claim or states a claim publicly, then someone would either send them an email with information that goes against what they're saying, and the back and forth would start from there, innit? And then now it's really at the strength of whose source is strongest.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I admit that might be the case, but I promise you, DJ H, yeah, and listen, I don't do these things lightly, innit? Like, and I don't make promises and I don't give you guarantees lightly, yeah. I'm a man of my word, you get what I'm saying? Like, trust me, if I call my missus right now, she'll tell you that I've been torn apart because of my word. Do you get what I'm saying to you? It's stronger to me than anything else. I'm a man of my word. I don't go back and forth and beg information from people. I go and study and look. Do you get me? And I won't be trolling anyone. I'm not a troll. I'm not into that stuff. You get me? I got a family. I got a missus. I got a young child. You feel what I'm saying to you? I'm a working man. You know what I'm saying? This is about information. This is about topics. This is about discussion. You get me? I wish people would allow Brother Velis and Brother Jedi's to do the same, and people sit and listen intently. You get me? I wish people would do that. You get me? Because I wouldn't need to be up here. Veli would be streaming. Jedi would be streaming. We had so many places we could go and get information and content, and different types of content. You get me? Yeah. But we're here now, innit? So you got to make the most of it, people, yeah? You got information you want to bring the information, yeah? And we'll chop it up. And that's pretty much anyone. Like I said, the same people we ain't chatting to. We ain't dealing with.
Yeah. For the record, yeah, DJ Soul's on to me as well, yeah? So, like, I think, what's he on to me about? The information about the Pakistani sex offenders. So he reckons that I misrepresented information that shows that Asians are not as highly represented as the right-wing media are trying to present, or whatever. Or not, maybe not the right-wing media, or not as highly represented as the sources that he would go to see who's who's placed higher on the list of sex offenders.
Yeah, I think I don't like those arguments because, again, they always tend to be dishonest. Do you understand? To a point where, like, I can't really, I can't really take the conversation seriously from some people, because it's just shrouded in dishonesty, right? And it's shrouded.
Yeah, well, what it is, yeah, it's not my original question, right? It's the original question that the right-wing media have been presented, and then people with pushback that are presenting evidence to show otherwise, like government figures or whatever, are saying that in this report it doesn't say that, in this report it says this, in this report it says that. But if you scour the figures or skew the figures to ask the question to make it, how many Pakistani grooming gangs are there within the UK, or how many Islamic grooming gangs are there within the UK, then you may get a higher figure than anyone else, right? Because only Pakistanis or only Muslims are going to be in these Pakistani Islamic grooming gangs that you're asking the question for. So,
but you know what? On the flip side of that, that isn't the case. We are even seeing that even within these Pakistani grooming gangs, there are European people within them.
There's European gangs.
No, but I'm saying within the Pakistani ones,
African gangs,
you know what I'm saying? So,
and African Arab gangs and others as well.
Yeah, and this is why I don't like the argumentation sometimes, because my opinion on it is this. Capleton. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. Capleton. Slow down. Yeah, that's it, bro. I have nothing more to say on it, yeah? Whether you are Asian, white, African, West Indian, Chinese, Australasian, I don't care where you're from. I don't care, South American, yeah, Inuit, yeah, Aztec, Inca. I don't care.
There ain't no common denominator, because, well, the common denominator is that, like, when they've done any sort of statistics for people that are carrying out group-based sexual assaults, they're not saying that the Pakistani community is the highest, or is it the highest per capita?
I think they're saying that there's the per capita statistics do kind of say that there is a problem, yeah, and I think we'd be dishonest to kind of say yes, it's to deny the problem. Do you understand me? Because it would be like the statistics to do with gang crime and the disproportionate amount of black men, right? So we have, in my opinion, we have to agree with the statistics because that's what they show, right? Even in the incarceration rates, right? So that's what they show. So we have to agree with the statistics. But what we must do when we agree with the statistics is then present the causations or the causalities, because I feel like, and then hold the mirror up to the people as well. So you start to say, okay, yes, we agree that there is a disproportionate amount of gang crime, for example, in this thing, because I prefer to speak on things like that, right? But there is a higher proportion of gang crime against young black men in England. That is true. However, my argumentation would be this: cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and London skew the statistics for the rest of the country, and maybe Bristol, for example, yeah. So those places skew the statistics for the rest of the country because those places are well represented and overly represented crazily. So they skew the rest of the country. But then when you go to a place like County Durham, where the poverty is equally as high in the places in London, Manchester, Birmingham, etc., Nottingham, you know, the poverty is equally as high or more, yeah, the level of crime is equivalent. Do you understand me? So that you can show them in the mirror.
Yeah, I've had these arguments with all them lots before already, innit? Yeah, and I keep trying to show them, yo, the correlation between that isn't no fucking ethnicity, it's poverty. In all of these different areas where you can see the highest crimes or the highest violence or whatever, the main correlating factor in there is poverty.
Yeah, but I think we can say that in terms of gang crime, but is that
and even with violence, all types of violence, and even crimes including theft, burglary, so and so. The places where it's most prevalent, the highest percentage, are places that are linked. The main correlation to all these things that's happening is poverty. Yeah, the second correlation I'll say to these things is education.
Right.
I've made these points to these men,
and I agree with that. Right, so we can say that about gang crime and violent crime and criminality. However, do we? Because I don't have a clue, and this is me being totally honest. I don't have a clue about the factors that make somebody want to pick up make an organization of adults that want to essay young females and boys. I don't know what the factors are that contribute to that. Do you understand me? And I don't think there are any factors that contribute to that justifies it. Not so because I'm not justifying gang crime, but it kind of explains it. And again, you can hold the mirror up to people and say, look, your people are going through this as well in this area, that area, this area too, where your people are disproportionately represented and the black population are underrepresented in those areas, right? Very much so. So then you can show them the mirror and say, well, actually, the link is poverty. However, we can't say that with these SA crimes. We can't. What is the link?
No, I wouldn't really try to make that claim. Still, the only claim that I would make with the SA thing would be that the people that are emphasizing on attacking one specific type of sexual assault against children to one specific group, making it easier for other people that are committing the said crimes in the same style, easier to get away with.
Yeah, and I think again that is the ploy of people that have an agenda. Because I would say this, and I've said this before. If there's a problem, you fix it, right? Or you try to fix it. But looking at one side and saying, oh, it's all them, it allows everyone to focus on them, and create a divide, because you have people saying, well, look at this though, and them they're being like, nah, but disproportionate and da, right? However, for me, the overriding factor in all of it, and I don't think people grasped it when I said it before, is this. Doesn't matter which government you vote for. Doesn't matter which MPs you follow, because there's plenty of them in all parties that have got SA charges of some type. Okay, plenty of them. So doesn't matter which government people you vote for, which MPs you follow, whether it be Reform, Labour, Conservatives, they're all flipping sleazy. They've all most of them have done sleaze. yeah, and got skeletons in their closet. That's how I see it. However, the biggest factor that you see in this thing, in this problem that I see with both Asian grooming gangs, white grooming gangs, whatever grooming gangs you want to talk about, is that the authorities seem to be and have been historically turning a blind eye. For me, that is the biggest factor in all of that. I don't care if you're Asian, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black, because like I said, slew them. That is my stance on it. But these people have been covering up from Savile days, ITV days, football days, Asian grooming gang days. Do you understand me? Like, this has been going on. This system that is in play has put laws in place where these guys have a sentencing guideline where they don't see nothing. Does that not make you think? Why are they not making the sentence? This is such a problem. Why are they not making the sentences more of a deterrent? Why are people not getting locked away for longer?
It's made these arguments as well. The sentencing guideline is a joke thing, and people are getting more for selling coke than fucking abusing children, bro. That's it. Don't make sense.
Right. People should be campaigning for your higher minimum sentence for these offences. That's what people should be campaigning for. Higher minimum sentence. Nobody should be walking out of court. Nobody.
You see, hey, Mosh, look at that in the chat, yeah. The first Asian gang, this is what I'm talking about, yeah, where the people them try to direct it towards, like, it's them that's carrying out the thing about black. It's not, we need to protect actual children, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so the argument's not up. There's children getting abused by fucking dudes in this place, that place, and the other. It's these Asian dudes who are abusing our white girls. And that's what we need to save. So any flipping other kids or whatever, basically are ignored. I forgot about. Fuck them.
Yeah, and you know what? And it comes across that way because we don't see people, even for flipping a beef between two children. We don't see documentaries. We've not seen no big documentary on Philip Schofield and him grooming that young youth. We ain't seen no documentary or no real investigation into Hugh Hedward's network and where he's getting his filth from. We ain't seen none of that, really. We ain't seen no charges brought up of people. Why not? Why not? It's not that important. You understand me? But here what I haven't seen. I haven't seen not one person sitting there saying, listen, why are we not petitioning and saying, listen, how is this guy out of court? Let's campaign. Somebody go online, do a petition, and you'd probably get 80%, 70% of the population voting for it to say we want higher sentences, higher minimum sentences. Yeah, we want immediate custodial sentences. Yeah, we don't care how fucking busy the prisons are. You got man in jail.
Should be riding bird.
You get me?
A bigger bird than fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. You got man in jail for selling weed. You got man in jail for thieving. You get me? Because he's homeless and he's broken, he's got nothing, and you lock him up and put him through the same cycle, but you got some nastiness walking out of court. And we don't see where the problem is. The problem isn't, yes, there is a disproportionate amount of people doing certain things. Yes, there is. We can agree with that. But you don't see there's a problem with the system at play that's turning a blind eye to it. From the police to
because the system
the MPs.
Or the law isn't to protect the people, it's to protect the power or the rich people's property. That's literally what it's built around. Do you know what I'm saying? That so
see it there. And we're all victims and fall into the trap. You get me? I'm telling you, don't fall into the trap, man, and hate another man. You get what I'm saying to you? Or hate another man.
You can rehabilitate yourself in jail, but it's easier to fall into the badness university than it is to get any sort of rehabilitation in jail. So
I mean, look, I say it like this, bro, yeah? I say, yes, it is, but again, listen, I'm going to tell you this. That's ambition. And ambition only comes with education, yeah? Now, I was fortunate, but stupid as a young man to get myself incarcerated because I had some good examples of role models around me. Do you know what I'm saying to you? I had good people that taught me good lessons. Do you understand me? I had people that had around me that had good standing in the community. I mean, very well respected people that even started and pioneered certain things for black people in terms of newspapers in the UK. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I just was a young man angry at certain situations in life, yeah, and went through a period of being a dickhead, as some of us do. Do you understand me? But at the end of the day,
listen, Mo.
But let me finish. Let
remember
me
there
finish
used to
quickly.
be.
Let me finish quickly, bro. Let me finish quickly. But at the end of the day, what happened was that I'm sitting in jail and I'm saying, right, when I'm hearing fucking Screws, who I don't like, saying to me, right, Mosh, bro, you got so much talent, man. What are you doing? Mosh, why are you here? What are you doing? You could do this, you could do that. Yeah. And I'm saying, right, these men ain't got no reason to tell me these things. So let me go and study. Let me go and make something of myself. Yeah. Let me make myself not come back to this place where I'm just stagnant and everyone around me is stagnant. Because there's no growth, because you're just in one place. It's just stagnant. So if you go to jail for 15 years at 18 years old, trust me, you're coming out of jail as an 18-year-old. Yeah, it's very difficult. And these people are coming out and are released, and there's no form of like integration slowly for them. So it's a big shock. And what's the easiest thing for people to do is to go back to what they know. Go back to what they know and what was the last thing they did as the 18-year-old boy. That is why rates of reincarceration are so high. But we don't tackle that. We don't look at that. You get me? That's the reality of the world we live in. Prison makes money. Prison makes money. But also, grooming gangs
Crazy still that things like that make for-profit organizations with the worst what their turnaround results are having people come back to visit and stay in their facilities or whatever, like rather than setting up any sort of programs inside the place or having links to any sort of outside businesses within those places. Like you see, like the Timpsons thing, for a man to come out, get a job and blah blah blah. That still comes back.
And you know what? Those things, and that, do you know what? In my eyes, yeah, I don't like Keir Starmer at all. But hear what? That's the best thing he ever done, was getting Mr. Timpson, the Timpson guy, as the head of in the prison thing, because what he did for prisoners was amazing. Yeah, and I know this because people I know personally came out of prison and had a steady job to go to, and actually I know a guy ended up owning his own, having his own little franchise one and running that. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was his pride and joy. And he used to say to me, I used to see him because I spent time in jail with the brother. You get me? And I used to see him in some old school Donnies. You get me? Yeah. And I see them man and the man, I say, Mosh, hey brother, I got my little shop, to the day. If you need your key cut, and I'm like, wait, well, I'm coming to check you. I'm coming to check you. You get me? No matter what, I'm coming to check you. Even if I don't need a key, I'm cutting a spare key. You get me? Yeah. Because I want to support you and your rehabilitation. You get me? Because you're doing the right thing. But when I came out of jail, within 5 days, I had a job, bro. Within 5 days, I had a job, bro. I was on building site. You get me? That's how intent I was on not going back. You feel what I'm saying to you? Yeah. And that's because of ambition. Because I looked around and I said, right, I've missed how many years of my son's life?
That's the thing though, you know, like not everyone's built for physical labor as well though. Kind of like you're saying there, it's easier for someone that's got a criminal record to get on a building site with flipping other builders or whatever. But it's nigh on impossible for you to get into any sort of corporate positions or office positions as an outsider with no links to any of the people there or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone in there would already have to know you or know your character and say that they could sort of vouch for you not being a fucking lunatic because you've been to jail before or whatever, you got a criminal record or some sort of shit like that.
And you know what happened to me, brother? You know what I was fortunate with is that, South, yeah, and like much of London, there's extreme poverty bordered with a border that is next to extreme wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I lived in an area that was like that. and later on in life, yeah, where we moved from the Nam, you get me? And that area had a football team that my brother played for, and a couple of the older lot played for my brother's friends. And I played for them a few times before I got locked up. And then when I came out, I played for them. And I ended up being the captain. But these people are all very well-to-do people. You know what I'm saying to you? Very well-to-do people. And but you see me, like I said, I get on with people, innit? I'm not, I can be a roadman. I've done a little stint of my life of being a roadman, you get me? But I'm not a roadman, though. You get what I'm saying to you? I'm not a roadman. I don't come from that. That's not my family. That's not what I come from. You feel what I'm saying to you? I had a little error in my life where I was a little dickhead. That's about it, you get me? But in essence, that don't appeal to me. So when I'm sitting there now and I'm like, rah, I can get a job, I can do this. I'm looking at the people around me that have a good impression of me because I've played football with them. They've been, you know, some of these men are like private school brothers. So you're going to play certain teams that's got man them in it, yeah? And you know you're the man them in it, so you got to be the one that's like, yo, we do, that's my teammate. You know what I'm saying to you? Sometimes it's you against 5 man, but you got to, you know. So these teammates now, they look up to you like, right, you know what? Well, Mosh's got my back, you know, right? Boom, you get me? So when it comes out and I'm saying, yo, you know, I'm looking for a little job or not, can you give me a reference or whatever? Yeah, don't watch nothing, man. I'll do that for you. You get me? I've all had brethren barristers like represent for me, you get me, and stuff like that, and did it, you know, because they know me. You feel what I'm saying to you? And they know the real me, not just some guy that's made a few mistakes in his life. You know what I'm saying to you? And
yeah, that's the point though, Mosh, like man was saying, innit? That differently, without you knowing these actual people, if you didn't know them from nowhere and your CV was sent out, you probably wouldn't even have got a call back.
But you know what?
The jail team is, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what that is a process of? Wise choices. Because here the joke thing. I could have gone and played for the Mandem team. I could have gone and not played football. I could have just rolled around, you get me, and done what I was doing.
Mosh, I'm saying, yeah, that you're, without knowing it, yeah, you go into like having a criminal record, especially having like a jail sentence for something like, say, violence, drug dealing, or even something sexual, or something wild, whatever your thing is, yeah, is such a hindrance if you're like a young man, early 20s or teenager, when if you with no work experience and no education or so and so, your choices are extremely limited. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not really going to get the same chances
as the next person. But again, you know what happens is, and I learned this because when I came out of jail, right, this is what happened, bro. I went to the housing, and they said to me, and I never get this stuck with me. They said to me, "Are you a drug addict?" I said, "No." So they're alcoholic? No, not a female. Yeah, you're not a female. You're not pregnant. You're not a refugee. Can't help you, right? So I'm like, right, okay, boom, yeah. That was the first kick in the teeth. You understand me? So then I went to the job center, yeah, and I said, look, I really want to get a job. Boom, 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 boom. They're like, oh, you got to sign on. I said, can you help me put me on this new deal thing? So I'd rather get a job ASAP. I don't want to have to wait 6 months. I'm really eager to get a job. You get me? And I think new deal will help me. The guy said, nah, you could do, you got to sign up for 6 months. Yeah. But hear the joke thing. This woman overheard. And she called me over. And she said, did you say you just come out of prison? I said, yeah. She said, all right, let me check something. On their record, on their thing, they had a thing that goes, again, they've got priorities. So I got fast tracked to new deal because the priority was
more help than the average person to get through the door.
So boom, they put me on this little course. This little course now helps you with the CV presentation, how to do the interview techniques, boom, 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 boom. Now this is what I did, and this is why I say wise choices help you later in life. If you're incarcerated, forget about all the badness. Yeah, get your education.
Start doing some courses and that, man.
Yeah, because you see what I was able to do. The amount of courses I did when I was incarcerated, was that I was able to present to people a whole history of education, which is I was in jail, right? So, and they were all authentic from certain colleges. So you put your qualification and it says this college, this open university, boom, boom. So now it looks like you've been a student for all this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they open your CV, they see somebody that's put the graft in, as opposed to someone that's been incarcerated. And this is how you put your best forward, even when you've taken 5 steps back. Yeah. Let me kick some knowledge to the young brothers, yeah, that are trying to do the right thing. You get me? Ask the questions. Yeah. It's hard because you're gonna get knocked back. But hear the joke thing, there are people that will be listening and watching, and you see some of them, they will gauge and see your passion. And if you really want to change, yeah, show people. Get me? It gets hard. Trust me, I've been there. There's jobs I want to do. Ain't
Basically,
happening.
yeah, having an understanding on how things work, yeah, means that you might be able to carve your own industry out within an industry, your own business out within a business, or your own niche business from the same sort of business you're doing. Yeah, like, all right, for instance, I watched some girl on YouTube, and she interviews like black entrepreneurs or whatever in it. Yeah, so this dude was doing financial advice for wealthy clients. So he said he's from the hood. Not everyone in the hood's wealthy, but people want to know how to manage their money. So he opened up a financial advice business that works with working class people and poor people, trying to get them to manage their funds better and make your way up the ladder and all that sort of stuff. There, it become quite a successful business where he's got like government contracts, and then he can do the rich and wealthy clients as his side hustle, still in the same business or whatever. But that's the one that really draws in the big bread or whatnot. So he just basically created his own business within the having an understanding on how things work, first of all, by doing the financial advice for wealthy people and rich people, and also taking the advice along the route himself that he's learning, and noticing his own situation changing and things that he was able to do that he wasn't able to do previously, like purchase his first property, then get property to let out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like employing other people in his company. Now other people are earning big bread in his company that he owns. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so,
and that's what's needed, and that's entrepreneurship. And you know what? All communities, I keep saying this, all communities need to encourage entrepreneurship because it encourages independence.
The youngers are on that, you know. The youngers are on it now still as well. I've noticed still that the man them have inspiration from the way that, like, especially see that, you know, like we watch a lot of from poor to rich success stories or whatever, and then you notice that people have solid members of their team that play certain roles, and man have took that idea and started to use that over here. I've noticed now with some of the young G's, like instead of being big baller by yourself and coming around and stunting on everyone, ending up getting robbed and all that sort of shit, using what you've got to help manage and put other people on, build a solid team where other people are getting bread, you're getting bread, and then we're all living nice together. You know what I'm saying? Like you can end up they can end up putting people that they want to put on in the same position also.
See it there. So what was the topic there, man? You see the aim of the game is to learn, and if you're not learning, you're stagnant. You get me? And this is the things that you gotta look at. You get me? And look to these people, man. Don't be looking at someone and be, he's a black fella, so you're not gonna listen to him. Like, working class is working class, whether you black or white. If you working class, you in the mud. To those that are in power, because they ain't in the mud. You know what I'm saying?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah. Why I've started to, why I was always looked sideways at these far right lunatics and their style of movement is that, like you just said, there's not just white people within the working class community, and that there's not just black people within the working class community. There's all different ethnicities within the working class communities, and the same issues that people are talking about affecting this group or whatever affects that other group also. If you're alienating and finger pointing at the other people within the community to be the issue, then it's like, while aligning yourself with people that are nowhere near your position, like any of the talking heads that the far right lunatics are looking up to at the moment, i.e. Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, or whatever, are nowhere near the same or in the same sort of working class communities, predicaments, scenarios, or situations that any of these working class people would be going through. Like another working class person from another ethnicity would be able to relate to instantly because they're living it today.
And I say this as
Not
well.
our,
Let me add.
We used to be poor. We're here today.
And let me add to that. Let me add to that as well, because this doesn't just go for these politicians. This goes for celebrity and all that as well. Yeah, we stop idolize these people. Yeah, stop thinking that they're gonna lead you out of the way that your life is, because these people are doing what they're doing, whether it be rappers chatting about murking each other, but also at the same time sending their children to private schools. You know what I'm saying to you? You got these people talking about working class issues, but their children are going to Eton, their children are going to Harrow, they're going to Dulwich College, they're going to all these other places. They're not going to Ernest Bevin. It's not even Ernest Bevin anymore, but still, they're not going Michael Ramsey, they're not going Warwick Park. You get me? They're not going Deptford Green. They're not going these schools. They're not going Thomas Postle. You get me? They're not going these schools that other people, Blackheath, Blue Coats, they're not going these schools. Yeah? You know man's a side, man. You
Stop
get me?
snitching, man. Stop snitching.
Yeah? They don't go to these schools, bro. You get me? Yeah? They don't go to these schools. Mad thing, Forest Hill boys and all
I used to
that.
have dreads in them days. Mad.
Yeah, them big school there. Get me? Them men are getting other schools, he told us anyway. You know what I mean? But listen, Belly, I'm about to go.
Yeah, man, I'm here now. Still, I need to jump up as well. Still, I was just like, yeah, same thing, bro. But big up the Moorish, man. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, man.
Hey, DJ, stop running, fam. Yeah, stop running, cuz. Yeah, the pepper seed, I reach your my out.
Don't run.
Grand Canaries, wide away. Mad.
Yeah,
mad. But hey, don't worry, bro, man. I'm gonna be stirring the pot from the side, you know, making sure that we can get this pepper soup brewing, you know, with more ingredients, man. So
you say review the review, mad thing.
Yeah, man. Hey, DJ, you know what I do. Yeah, hey, listen, DJ, you can't run now anyway, yeah, because I know if you ain't reviewed this by the time this weekend's over, yeah, then you know what's gonna happen on Monday, innit? Huh? You know what's gonna happen on Monday, innit? Yeah, let it be. Yeah. Yeah, man. So,
man. Big up yourself, my brother.
Man. Alright, say less, man.
No, people, big up yourselves. Yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a brilliant weekend. You know what I'm saying? For those of you of different faiths and culture, get me, don't business what you are. Have a good weekend. You get me? Enjoy your Sabbath day. Keep it holy. You feel what I'm saying? That's the realness. You get me? Yeah. I don't care if you don't believe in God. God, capital G, bless you all. You get me? Big up.